This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, Nate, say something.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. We can hear you now. Okay. Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Everyone, as we gather this day to do the important business for the people of the village of Owego, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding.
Amen. All right. First item, as always, public comment.
Hi, RJ Pasto, Legal EMS. There's been 3 months since the initial suspension of the former EMS department head and current chief and first assistant chief. So there's been no resolution on the initial suspension. I don't know if that is undone or, what they're allowed to do at the station. I did email a couple weeks ago and that went unanswered. We, the squad, have reached out to the board and individual members of the board. We've invited people to our meetings, our membership meetings, and board-to-board meetings. And that, it all seems one-sided. We've reached out numerous times. I've been to just about every meeting over the last 3 months. And not once has the board reached out in any kind of constructive way to chart a way forward on the EMS department and the SWAT relationship. There's a lot of nice words about how much you guys appreciate what we do for the community, but there's been nothing behind that. And it's been to the detriment of the SWAT. We're losing members, and I don't think we're done losing members. So, I don't really know what to expect at this point, because I don't really know what kind of level of trust we have in the board. I don't like to be in this situation. And so I guess it's up to you guys on how you want this relationship.
Public comment.
Hi, I'm Sharon Holm, here from the village. I've been here at a few of the meetings where Mr. Hester has appeared. He's always come prepared. He's always been very articulate and very straightforward in what he's asking for. And I would agree, you haven't been really responsive. It really bothers me to know that he's been inviting board members and has reached out so many times without a response. I think it's disrespectful.
Jim King, I'm a squad member. So I'm representing myself and not the squad. But I'm going to repeat some of what RJ had to say here, but a little more detail. You understand why the squad is pretty unhappy at the moment. So in September, the village board suspended Paul Cole and Stephanie Cole from the positions of EMS chief and first assistant EMS chief. And they are banned from Central Station during the daytime for no apparent reason. I say for no reason because no reason has been given to either of the Coles or to the Owego Emergency Squad who elected the Coles. what was presumed to be the reason was a charge of fostering a hostile workplace. The hostile workplace charge was investigated and evaluated by Kaufman and Gerhardt and determined to be unfounded, or the suspensions and bans were not lifted. What was told to the squad was that the suspensions were for cause, but no charges had been stated. Perhaps to finesse the unexplained suspensions and ban, the village board passed a resolution which made the EMS chief and the chief's subordinates a political appointment. Thus, the Coles would remain out of office and the squad no longer elected for the village board's approval, which was the previous case, the village EMS department officers. The Owego Emergency Squad has two grievances: the prolonged suspension and ban of a member without stated charges and without a hearing, and the political appointment of EMS department operational officers without a formal process for membership approval. These grievances have been made clear to the mayor and other village board members. These grievances are causing the emergency squad members, some of them anyway, to resign, others to pull back on their service. And anecdotally, I could say that I've seen a reduction in, or I should say an increase in the number of calls that are going unanswered. And that reduction in, or increase in unanswered calls means a reduction in revenue for the EMS department. And it's only going to get worse. So nearly a month ago, the mayor promised to address these grievances in a timely manner. It has not happened. The lack of movement toward resolving these grievances will prompt more resignations and withdrawal of service. A cascade of such behavior would be very harmful. Despite the many demands of the month of December, I urge the mayor and the board to take meaningful and observable action very soon, like within the next 2 weeks. Thanks.
May I? Sure. I'm kind of confused because we had a discussion, I remember, and I promised the very next day I would set something up. And I did. So what happened? Remember?
I didn't get an invitation.
Remember? The meeting that we had at the training center, and I promised that I would look into this and I would set something up with y'all to discuss with the mayor.
Right.
And I looked into it and I called and I checked back and everything was in place. So until now, I wasn't aware that this didn't happen because this shouldn't be right now. Because I was under the impression that this was all discussed. Because I was one of those that made that promise. So I'm stepping out there in front of this bus to figure out what's going on.
And we did have a meeting with the mayor that weekend. And we haven't had any substantive outcome from any of it. Like from the beginning, it was, we'd like to engage with the squad to figure out what the structures, the future is gonna look like, the EMS department and the relationship with the squad. And there's been nothing concrete. I've given proposals on what that might look like. That was, I guess, disregarded in preference for another, course of action. I was told that there would be hearings and charges before removal of anyone. That didn't happen. And maybe that's it. And there's nothing more to discuss. And you're happy with the resolution as it stands. And if that's the case, I won't waste anyone's time.
Well, I guess I don't know, and I'm stepping out here too. So we had a meeting the night of the banquet, before the banquet, which I don't know what kind of action you want. Like government doesn't move fast in anything. Like this isn't our full-time jobs. Every one of us here has a real full-time job. So I guess I don't know what you're looking for. As far as action, the village board chose its department.
I mean, that's it, but
We didn't
that
remove
resolution is
anybody
gonna stand.
from the
And there's, I don't know, I was under the impression that that was not the final word on things, but
I mean, it is until we
you decide.
have enough time to look into it, which we haven't had.
I thought it was the final word, but then it was just a clarification of what everything entailed. Because I think there was a lot of confusion to what the new position entailed. And I thought that was clarified in the meetings that transpired after we had our initial meeting. Because I remember I called and said, should I be at this meeting? No, you did enough. I said, okay. Because you know, I was dedicated. I was in this.
Rusty.
I'd like to clear up one problem point that I don't know how it got where it got. The captain and co-captain were suspended from captaincy and co-captaincy. We did not suspend them from the EMS or from doing calls or from the station. That was what action we took, that's what we said. So I don't know how it got turned to, they can't be in the station, they can't participate at all. That's not what we did.
Well, I mean, I could find that email to show you whether or not we had the station from 6 to 6 with the daytime staff.
I don't know about an email, all I know about is what action we took here at this board meeting.
We said that while things were going on, which are confidential investigations, which we should not be talking about in a public meeting.
That we're not gonna talk about.
And those confidential investigations are over and unfounded, so. Doesn't mean we didn't find other things during those investigations, which is why we took actions we took actions.
I'm just clearing up that one point. We suspended only the leadership ability. We did not suspend them from the squad.
No, yeah, that's understood.
From membership. Okay, just want to clear that one up.
The only thing that was said in their referendum a month ago was that the mayor would appoint the chief. Everybody else, it's all the same. There's no other control.
It's not the way it is.
The way it read is he appoints the chief and that's it.
Right. And then the chief has power to appoint
Whoever they want.
below them.
So it's not the same.
I mean, it's a big change from the way we have been doing business. And, I mean, I guess, okay. The way you guys want it to be. That's what I'll take back to the membership.
Rusty.
So the decision was made that a department head would be appointed by the village. We appointed the third in command that you guys had elected to be your lieutenant. We didn't go to Nova Scotia and pick somebody strange or anything. We picked the guy that you guys wanted to be your leadership. He's your leader. The chain of command then will be, as other department heads, the assistant fire chiefs have no authority other than what comes from the fire chief, the police chief, the Department of Public Works. All these folks have the authority, and then they delegate their assistants. So that would be the case. Your gentleman that you wanted to be your lieutenant is who we picked. We didn't pick somebody strange, somebody that you didn't know, somebody that you didn't want. And he'll decide who will be his subordinates, and the power will come from him to them. That's the command structure.
That is not the way it works in the fire department, though. You alluded to the fire department. The actual fact is, in the fire department, by ordinance and charter, that the fire department elects three chief officers.
I know what
In a
it
hierarchy.
is.
Well, but it's different from what you just described.
I know what it is.
Okay. But for the other people who don't understand what he was describing, they elect 3 chief officers, and the village gets to approve or disapprove of those officers. And then if there is a disapproval, the fire department elects someone else for the village's approval.
And just for the record, I don't have a problem with your choice of Mike Roden. It's the process. It was the change of process that we were told from the beginning in these public forums that there would be a hearing, there would be charges, there would be due process. That did not happen.
What,
And
what do you wanna see happen, RJ?
well, and I said it at the last, or the meeting when the resolution was passed. I would like to see some sort of something in place that takes into consideration, the membership, in the appointment of the EMS department chief. And it's not, like Jim said, you can compare us to the police department or the Department of Public Works all you want, but the fact is, it's an apples to oranges comparison. You want something that's a little more apples to apples, the fire department's it. Codified. In the village ordinances that, the EMS chief or the fire chief is a village officer because they are elected by the members of the fire department. That's what I asked for. I don't think that's too much to ask for EMS.
Well, the village board can vote not to accept that officer from the fire department.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and that's fine. I'm not asking that you accept anyone we throw up without, your consideration. In those proposals, I don't think I asked for anything that, special privileges that were not given the fire department. I mean, it was almost like a line by line, just insert EMS department in here. I think one of them was, board approval of our bylaws. Because that's what the fire department has. And that also legitimizes any removal of officers and members.
Yeah.
One other thought from when we met with RJ from the board is that you did share with RJ and I that the resolution has the ability to be adjusted and updated to include, I'll say, the requirements of the chief from the 501c3 perspective, right? So that way we don't get somebody who isn't an EMT, who doesn't have experience, that kind of stuff. So I'll say, from my perspective, you assured me and hopefully RJ that before you're done being mayor, that resolution will be adjusted and that wording will be incorporated into the resolution to make it clear for those to follow.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused because we had that meeting. I'm gonna turn this around though, because you come in now cold cocked and are nailing us for not doing anything. That meeting was less than a month ago. You haven't called me, you haven't emailed me, like we haven't had another meeting. I don't know where else.
From the internet about it after I set it all up.
I mean, how
We're willing
often
to work
do I
with
need
you,
to?
but you gotta work with us.
I'm trying, and I've reached out numerous times.
Show me the emails, the calls. You have.
So it's on me? Okay.
No,
I mean,
but
that's
you're putting it
fine.
on us, like, it's all of us. We gotta work together.
I know, but
Let's do it.
so I feel like I've been reaching out over and over to invite you guys to do stuff. I've presented the proposals and you're acting like you haven't seen them or read them. Like this is a surprise.
All I'm saying is let's do it. You wanna work together, let's work together. Not you against us, us against you. That's not it. We got the same thing going on in the squad.
Once again, I'm going to suggest, maybe I should make a motion that we get all of us together in one room, once and for all, with our mayor, with our lawyer, and we sit down and we'll hash this out, we'll discuss it, we'll dissect it, and we come to the bottom line. Whoever needs to know whatever needs to know whatever. Because this just keeps going back and forth, and it keeps stretching out, and that's the last thing I wanted this to do, was stretch out. Because of the fact that we're losing our members, our valuable members. This is not supposed to happen. This should have been fixed a long time ago. So that's my suggestion. You all want to agree to that? Let's make it. Let's make it happen. I mean, Christmas vacation be damned. I want this done.
You have a calendar with you, RJ?
Yes, I
Can
do.
we come up with a date?
All right.
Oh, they want a date.
Next Wednesday,
Okay.
7 o'clock.
The only question will be if that works for me. That's fine with me. 7 o'clock, good with me.
I hear next Monday.
Wednesday.
December 11th, right?
I've got a meeting that night at 5 already. I could do Thursday next week. I could do Wednesday or Thursday this week.
What about next Monday, a week from tonight?
I have a meeting at 7 o'clock that night.
What's 12 look like, RJ?
If we did it at 5, and you guys could be done in an hour and a half. But I don't want to cut a meeting short like that. You know, it needs the time to discuss.
Good work.
Thursday the 12th.
Rusty?
I'd be interested to know what the loans are of this, who is supposed to be attending such meeting? Is this an
Whenever
open?
they need, think they
I'm
need.
not asking you, please. Who's going to come to this meeting? Will it be open to the public? Will it be open for public discussion? What is the gist of the meeting is what I'm interested to know.
Question? Whatever you like to talk about.
Well, I thought I made it clear that you have my proposals. I would like to discuss the appointment of the EMS chief and the relationship between the EMS department and the Owego Emergency Squad Incorporated. Again,
Okay, do you want, let me rephrase it, do you want the entire board there? Because then it has to be a public meeting.
I don't, I guess I don't really
Which is fine.
care
because
who's
it's all a
there.
workshop.
like,
We just have to advertise.
someone that's there, whoever's interested can be there, that's gonna wanna discuss the proposals and whether or not you want to just disregard them and keep the resolution you currently have. I mean, if that's all you wanna do, if you don't care for structuring this relationship between the village and the squad, that's fine. I just
My
need to know
question
that.
isn't get an answer. Will there be a number of people from the squad? Will there be 40 people from the squad? Will there be 3? Will there be a committee? Who's gonna be there on one side of that? Who do we want there from the village? What kind of meeting are we talking about? That's what I'm trying to find out here.
From my perspective, it's just gonna be the OES board and the office. From the squad.
So next question, what is an OES board?
That is the administrative officers elected by the membership.
This is the corporation, this is not the department of Owego, village of Owego
I
squad,
have-
this is a corporation squad.
Michael is in charge of the EMS department. And I'm not speaking for Mike and his officers.
This is the corporation that's separate from the
Yes.
department of SWAT. Okay, that's some stuff I'm trying to find out.
Well, if we have more than 3 board members, it has to be an open meeting.
Correct, yes.
I'm willing to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Fran, you're willing to be there? Mike, you're willing to be there? Whoever else on this board is gonna be there? So that's 3 right there, guaranteed.
Well, RJ, why don't you resend, those emails you're talking about?
Okay.
Let's get the date nailed down, and then you can make up an agenda, and everybody will get it done.
We got December 12th, 7 o'clock. Do it here.
December 12th.
Call a special meeting, put in a paper, all that kind of stuff. So we're legal, no matter who shows up.
So written, so it shall be done.
Hopefully,
EMS workshop, that's what we're saying.
Okay, we're still in public comment.
Are you all set?
Okay,
Maybe.
Nadine Bixby, 244 Main Street, Owego. Tonight, I'm going to be speaking with you as an ex officio of the OHBC former chair and former member over 10 years of service in that capacity. The recent decision which the trustees made to instruct the village attorney to stop taking legal action against property owners at 263 Front Street is wrong-headed and short-sighted. Without any kind of village permit and in violation of a stop work order, an electronic billboard at this address was installed in a deliberate, thoughtful, informed, and carefully planned manner. It did not grow there overnight. After the June 17th, 2021 OHPC denial of the application to install, the property owners asked me as chair of the OHPC, what will you do if we put it up anyway? My response was, and Mike, I think you're here, where's Mike? We will follow the law, we expect you to do the same thing. Now, when you appoint us, and we take an oath of office, and we follow the ordinance of chapter 126 in the village code, the answer, I think, to that question was, we will follow the law, and we expect you to do the same thing. Don't make your volunteers, your unpaid volunteers who go to training and study the law and go to all kinds of things in 10 years and make me out to be a liar. I don't like that. Not one bit. When the chair of planning or zoning or OHPC says to a question of denial, we will follow the law and we expect you to do the same thing, when was that the wrong answer to give? Because of this precedent, financial repercussions for the entire village could be significant. Again, certified local government status is now at risk again. The OHPC chair every year by law has, and Nate knows this, by law in order to maintain, and it's not just given out, there's a lot of stuff you have to go through. And places that have historic districts and places that have commissions are not automatically given certified local governments. We have to report all the actions that we take. And there's a big section there, which for years I have pulled out. We have no problems with, we hardly ever deny anything. And we have no problems with the local government. And they have it, and they supported us. Well, we have to support, we have to, like you do with your taxes, you have to say these are truthful statements. These are the problems that we have. So at the state level, at the State Historic Office of Preservation, they forward this. The certified local government is awarded to us by the federal government. It is awarded by the Secretary of the Interior. So each time the village board undermines legal and correct decisions of any of their committees, OHPC is noted in the audit statement. One of these days, the village will be audited in person, happened to me one time, in order to explain these deficiencies. You need to prepare to be able to explain your actions. You need to be able to explain this. So at this point, we are on the way to being the only municipality in New York State to lose its CLG status twice because of its own neglect of its own laws. And I remind you again, the advantage is not to just the historic district, but it's to the entire village, bringing our tax dollars back to us, put to work for us in the forms of millions of grant dollars. The ERI, Dr. Nucci's critical work, preparing the village for natural disasters, and all the smaller contracts for not-for-profit. And these millions will go to other municipalities. Our tax dollars are going to be working for somebody else if we don't get our act together. When a community ignores permit procedures and code enforcement, especially any kind of stop work order, the fabric of safety in a community begins to unravel. Once the word gets out that permits are not necessary or can be ignored, all of us are put at risk. This is the precedent that you have started. Who will invest in a community that does not follow code? Who will support and visit our already struggling commercial district, contributing vital sales tax when the historic district begins to disintegrate and look derelict like so many other small villages in upstate New York and nationwide? What happens when current property owners in the historic district and throughout the entire village realize the legal protections offered to their homes and businesses cease to function because they're just pieces of paper? What happens is what happens elsewhere. Big old houses get bought up cheap by absentee landlords who break them up into multiple housing and then neglect them while pocketing the direct deposit rents from their government. The slumlords do not pay taxes and then abandon the buildings to referee tax sales, profiting all the way to the bank. The base breaks down, our excellent public education suffers, young families look for good schools when they move into a community, fire and ambulance service would suffer too. This domino effect that you have started with one decision. The vultures are circling villages such as ours. They're just waiting. So here are some questions for you. How many electronic billboards will now be installed within any residential neighborhood in the village? Is there a limit you will place? How big a lawn? How big a billboard? Can property owners have multiple billboards? What can be displayed on such billboards? Can taxpayers install billboards advertising their personal businesses as in running 24/7 commercials? What about political or religious proselytizing? What about sexual images? What about bullying behavior between neighbors in dispute? What happens when they break down and just show static? These electronic computerized billboards are getting cheaper and cheaper every day and can be put on a trailer and plugged into an outlet. Best practices for good government would indicate to get ahead of this issue. We are not alone. Communities all over are struggling with this. And since you seem to be picking and choosing, which laws are members of the planning, zoning, and OHBC supposed to ignore now? Are you going to go through the entire village code and blackline entire chapters? What kind of guidance are you going to give to us? Why even have code officers? Why even have a police force? You have an opportunity to correct an error in judgment. The property owners at 263 Front Street who illegally installed an electronic billboard need to be ordered to remove it. They know they were close, they were going to lose in court. They need to pay the fines as outlined in local law, and they need to pay the village's legal fees incurred in dealing with this issue. This is a solvable problem. And just for the record, I know that there's been a lot of comments about this being an anti-veteran issue. I come from a family of veterans. I come from a family of disabled vets. I lived with in a multicultural, multi-generational family. My grandfather was paralyzed on the right side of his face from the gas warfare in the trenches in France in World War I. My father was a radio operator, 17 years old in Germany. You know, the radio operators and the medics were the biggest targets of the German snipers. I'm lucky to be here for all of you. Big deal. And my husband volunteered for Vietnam. He didn't wait to get drafted. This isn't about veterans. This is not about supporting veterans. My family supports veterans. This is about following our laws. wanna do that, and I'm also concerned about the bullying behavior and threats to people on all our committees and all our commissions, and harassment that people get in the supermarkets and online, and the eggs thrown at our houses and things like that. A lot of us are experiencing this, and this has been going on for a while. We don't talk about it very much, but I am really concerned that this is affecting people's voting, because they're afraid now. They're afraid to stand up and do what I'm doing. I'm old enough now that, and I've raised 7 kids who were all teenagers at one point. And I've been told they hate me all the time when I was laying down my own law in my own house. They've all since apologized in their 30s, 40s, 50s, but, I'm a little tougher than that. So, and Fran, you made the motion last week, and I want you to be thoughtful about this. And, you and I go back, and we are both preservationists, and you got an award recently for all the good work that you are doing for the community cemetery, all the good stuff that you're all doing. Well, I got an award, the same award, a couple of years ago as an individual. Guess what? For bringing back the OHPC and trying to protect the historic district. We should be on the same page. How could we be in conflict over this? That's a mystery to me. I don't get that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for tonight. And Ron, I'm gonna hand you my stuff here.
So I'll say, as far as putting the legal action on hold, that was, our decision, mainly to look into the issue some more, and because we as a board need to figure out advice from our attorney, but a legal action like that's gonna cost the village between $10,000 to $20,000. We gotta figure out where that's gonna come from, especially if we keep doing that all the time.
You just need to take the slide down. It won't cost you anything.
I need to talk to you guys about, there's a publication from, actually, the historic,
They don't have,
putting these ginormous,
Michael, they don't have a copy that only the board does.
I don't know.
billboards all over historic district. It's the new thing.
All over the historic district.
It's a problem.
Actually, well, this actually.
No,
But it's a historic
State's gonna
district
do
doing
it.
it.
Yeah.
You need to.
I can't comment on this because I don't.
No, I know, we need,
You're
like,
right.
you guys to look at this.
One at a time, one at a time.
So anyway,
Yeah,
well,
well,
that's a different.
let me just comment. We did not say we were dropping the case. We were suspending action until we looked into it. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't put a timeline on it, which even Nate thinks we probably should put something just so that
Well,
we,
There's some misconceptions here.
I mean, one at a time here. I don't know who was next. Ken?
Number one, we have been charged by the code enforcement office. None of that has stopped. The 18th of this month, we still go to court I was there today because court is on the 2nd floor and we have disabled veterans that can't get there. So that's gotta be regulated, but that's still in place. Nothing's changed. I came to this board along with other members last week or 2 weeks ago, and I asked, I don't want you to stop your lawsuit on it. Nobody said that. What I said was put it on hold so that both sides could sit down and understand each side's point. That's all I asked for. I didn't say we want to be special. I didn't say that veterans against the world. Nobody is, that I know, is throwing eggs against your property. All I ask for is sit down in a meeting amongst everybody and let's have some common sense dialogue. Period. I understand your point. Get time to understand my point. That's all I ask for. Period.
My name is Deidre and I'm at 275 Front Street. So I am 50 yards from the electronic billboards. I was going to review a lot of what Nadine did, but she is much more eloquent than I am. So I'm going to make it short. When that electronic billboard flashes, it's like a car with headlights 50 yards from your bedroom and your living room. And when the red screen kicks on, It's like my side porch and my neighbor's house are on fire. Personally affected by an electronic billboard that was installed illegally, that the village board reneged on its legal requirements. So I would respectfully request, now, let me step back. I have not come to a village board meeting to talk about this because I spoke to code and I trusted that my elected officials would follow the law. When I found out just in the last 48 hours that my elected village officials are reneging on their sworn duties, I am frustrated beyond belief. Please, let's focus on this. This was an illegal installation. It directly impacts my quality of life. And I respectfully request that we do something better about this. Thank you.
Move on that. Are you guys?
So I'm directly impacted by the zoning situation. John Whitmore from Pali. I'm directly in place of this zoning disaster in the village of Owego. In response to your comment about slumlords coming in, breaking it up, 40% of the current village residences, large homes, have more than 3 meters on the building in an R2 neighborhood. So you're already in violation of that situation. That building was built in 1932 when they received their charter, and that was zoned commercial. The Legion was zoned commercial in 1932. They got their what do you call it? Charter in 1932, which made, in the village, the county, and the state and town taxed that as a commercial commercial building. Nobody's ever lived in that house since the house was torn down and turned into a commercial building. When zoning went into effect in 1968, that should have been grandfathered in commercial space. The building right next door to that is a New York State building, which has no zoning because it's state owned. The buildings next to that have all had their zoning changed. And I'm not just standing up for the Legion. The fact is, again, 40% of the village of Owego is out of compliance in R2, R3, and commercial zoning. So if you're gonna bring a battle, and on top of that, OHPC bylaw says common sense approach. We've already lost numerous buildings due to OHPC not having a common sense approach, putting windows in that are compliant with this green energy directive where, oh, we're gonna make these insulated, but we can't change windows. How are you gonna make this efficient in today's energy efficiency drive that New York State and the village is doing? You can't do it. So we need to step back and take a common sense approach and say, here we are today. Let's sit down all together, as the Legion has suggested. Let's sit down together and say, look, how are we gonna fix this? Are we gonna destroy 40-year-old plus businesses, almost 100-year-old businesses over a simple sign? No, let's sit down and talk. Because again, if you're gonna enforce it against us, I've got a bunch of pictures right here in my folder that I can go against your code enforcement, I can go against zoning enforcement, and I can go against 40% of the village. Are we willing to take that battle? And that's gonna be far more than $30,000, I promise you that. Thank you.
If we're gonna revamp the sign issue, we need to do it on all of them, because even the historic community is in violation. Those little house markers that the historic committee had made to go in front of Bella Lockwood Inn, that sign was oversized. There's supposed to be 3 square feet, and that thing is bigger than that. And that's just one of them. They're all that size or bigger.
So first of all, Steve DeVarney, advisory committee, the OHBC is an advisory committee only. I wasn't gonna say anything tonight, but, and she's right, she did meet with us on June 21st, 2021, or June 20th. But what she forgot to tell you was that they had already decided a month before that they were gonna deny us. And I have an email with that we're gonna be denied. So I sat through their little thing and then they denied us. So if you're gonna get rid of that sign, and if that color, those colors we can change. And you know that sign is off by at least 7 o'clock every night.
It gets dark at 4:30.
No, it's not a 4:30, but again, those colors can be changed. And we tell you, people love that sign. Well, you go ahead and smirk and laugh, but, hey, all right, we heard a couple of people's feelings. Oh my God, we better take a day off. But if you're gonna get rid of that sign, are you gonna have the boys club get rid of theirs, Warden Van Scoy get rid of theirs, the school district get rid of their two that they have? I don't care if it's in the historic district or not, because the village code says no electronic or neon signs allowed in the village. The village, which means everything, not just Front Street and Main Street, it's in the village. And there's a lot of other things, that M&T sign is not legal, the theater sign is not legal, because they are inside, they are illuminated from the inside, they are not legal. So, we don't ask for a lot over there. And that sign was donated, as I told you when we had the meeting. And there's not a single thing, all we do is get compliments on it. And you know, if we hurt your feelings, I'm sorry.
No, hurt my.
But we did, you know, you guys did what you wanted, what you had to do. We did what we had to do.
We're just asking to sit down and understand everybody's point of view.
I mean, if you're gonna if you're gonna go by the code, if you're gonna go by the village,
The rules for everybody.
then you gotta do it for everybody. So go tell the Boys and Girls Club that they gotta take their sign. Go tell the school district they gotta take their sign. Tell Warden Van Scoy, get it off the building. And all those other flashing lights, because it seems that our sign is the only one that bothers anybody. I guess the signs on 17 and 434 and 17C, all these other electronic signs up and down the highway, for some reason don't bother people. Just that one in front of the Legion. Well, you know, come on. Let's we're into the digital age, people. I know you don't like it.
No,
But
who says I don't
the
like it?
office of, the New York State Office of Historic Preservation is putting in 20 electronic kiosks at historic districts throughout the state.
Mayor,
So,
Rodney, would you make copies of that information that I gave the board available to the public so they can see it? If you stop in, and if you'd like, if you care, stop in and get a copy of that information that the state of New York is publishing. I just thought tonight it was pretty interesting. I'm just trying to tell you where it's going. Whether you like it or not, that's your opinion, and I respect that.
And as far as the board goes with the, putting aside this threat of a lawsuit, we did that so that we can have this discussion.
That's all I asked for was, you took no action already. I just said, put that on hold until we can discuss this thoroughly. And everybody can voice their opinion, and everybody can understand each other's point of view, and let's go collectively forward. Period. Let's see what's all about it.
On that note, I've got 2 court dates, or I have a single court date for 2 violations for, number 1, a personally sponsored event and a family event brought by village code, ignorance. So I'm extremely behind having a resolution with the village, and I would ask that the village please put the Family on the same committee with the Legion. And please ask code enforcement to leave me alone. For real. I've contacted state police. I'm ready to go forward with a lot of stuff right now. I'm that angry.
I second that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Corey?
Maybe I can help a little. So obviously I have a record, and I'm not.
Who you are and all that sort of.
My name's Corey Relier, legendary. So listen, the only thing I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm siding with her, I was one, everybody knows, I've always pushed the law, and I pushed and pushed and pushed. Just do it right, because the law is a law. I mean, I've been in a situation, I got a $300,000 DEC violation cleanup that I got over at 6062 Main. All I'm saying, if you guys are gonna do it right. Sit down and talk about it. The law's the law. You can't, it is what it is.
That's what I'm asking for.
But it should apply to everyone,
Fair enough, correct.
School district, boys, whatever.
But I'm just saying, like,
all sides.
but if you,
everything.
from my past, I tell, if you start picking scabs, it won't be pretty for anybody. It's just,
I understand that.
everybody needs to do it right, But my proposal,
Construction's over on the preservation of the Valley House. That means I can dedicate my money elsewhere, and I'm willing to.
maybe I can help with your lawyer fees. So I'm cutting the trees on the property we own on Division Street, and as I was there, I see a lot of decaying oak trees and walnut trees on the right-hand side. That's a joint to the creek. I was gonna put a proposal together for the village to look at, while my crew's down there cutting the trees, maybe we can fund you guys some money. We don't know what the price is gonna be, because we open them up, they rot, whatever the case is, but we do it two ways with landowners. We either do a percentage, or we can buy the trees outright. We put a proposal together for 6575, $6,575 for 40 to 50 selected mature trees along that creek. I just want to pass this along. If it's something you guys are interested in, that's fine. If not, it's not going to affect us either way.
Right before you do anything along that creek bank, you best be getting a hold of DEC.
Yeah.
Or that'll be a heavy fine.
Yep. So I'll pass that along, but I'm just saying on her behalf, your guys' behalf, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been the guy to say, the heck with the law, I'll do what I want to do. And, I mean, the code officer just seen it, that building over there. I can make a mess for the village of Owego quick. I took the chance. I was hoping I was going to win, but it's going to cost me probably $300,000 to get rid of those chemicals. On top of the $18,000 in taxes that are due, and so it is what it is. But I'm gonna pass this forward and just try to be the common guy. I hope you guys figure it out, because the law's the law, but if you're gonna apply the law, you gotta apply it to everybody. I've been on both sides, so I'll pass this and I'm all set.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Corey. Still public comment?
She seems a lot calmer than everybody else.
So, Becky Tillman from Renewal Ranch.
Have to tell us anything.
Welcome
back, Becky.
Thanks. So, same thing, a little different, not a business, but kinda is. But we need code to meet us. I know we filled out our permits, we dropped them off.
Okay.
But we're gonna have problems with the storage container. But the thing is about that storage container is, it's keeping all of the homeless people's things off your guys' streets. I don't know, probably how many do we have in there, there's stuff?
Well,
Yeah, but we need somebody to work with us on that, because we're not gonna be able to pay $200 every 60 days. We already pay out of Renewal Ranches, we pay 101 to have that storage container there a month. And that is out of many people's generosity to provide that. And it gives them a place to keep their stuff. And then also, I just wanna kinda give like what we've done in November. We have fed 383 meals, 118 showers, 107 loads of laundry. We've handed out 150 pairs of socks, 74 pairs of underwear, We've had 3 baptisms and 89 sets of hats and gloves. Now, another big number, it's not as big of a number, but we have had 6 individuals go to rehab out of that. That's big. I don't know if anybody else has been able to get people into rehab like that. I had 3 people talk to me today about going to rehab this week. Will it happen? I don't know. But I know that a lot of the people that are against us in there, I bet you they couldn't have a conversation with those guys. And that's how it's gonna get out of the village. A lot of people, they just think, let's just make it disappear. But that's not how it's gonna disappear. It's gonna be by them coming to the ranch, getting comfortable, us feeding them, showing them some compassion and care, and then them forming that relationship and trusting us enough to go into a rehab. We have had 213 provided services, either through SOS, Fidelis, Catholic Charities, or therapy and doctor's appointments. Through that, and I mean, how long ago did we start? 3 months? Yeah. So, yeah, it was September, so 2. But, yeah, I guess it is December. But we just need definitely more support and less. I mean, I feel like some of them are, some of the comments a little bit, but are going down. But I need support from code and stuff. We are a nonprofit. We don't have tons of money. We can't sit here and keep paying $200 for storage containers, having this permit and that permit, this floodplain permit that we have to have. We're not developing anything. I actually, when code came in there in the first place and told me I could not put washers and dryers or anything downstairs, I didn't. I put them all upstairs. Nothing is downstairs, except for what was already existing in that building. But everything's upstairs, and also it's cleaning up the village. I mean, it's not an immediate thing, but it's happening. So we need them to work with us a little bit.
So do you need code to contact? Like, I'll talk to Mick tomorrow. Do you want me to?
Yeah, he was supposed to call. We dropped off our permits. He was supposed to call so we could come back and go over them.
Okay, so I can close that.
Just before you go, I just wanna, because everybody always wants to hear about all the laws that nobody wants to follow. When we just made that container law not too long ago, you can't have a container by paying $200 a month. You can only have a container for 60 days in 1 year time period. So it's not about paying $200. You're not allowed to have it after 60 days.
Right, but to even have it for 60 days, I have to have.
I'm sorry?
I have to pay $200 even to have it for 60 days.
Yeah, whatever the price is for the 60 days.
Yeah.
But then it has to go.
Would you rather pick it up off the streets?
I'm sorry?
Would you rather pick up all that stuff off the streets? How much is that
I'm
costing
not
the
telling
town?
you what I'd rather do or what I want or anything.
Right.
I'm just telling you what the law is.
I know, and that's what we have to figure out something, because nobody else wants to do it. They just want to complain about all the stuff all over the place, but nobody else wants to actually provide anything. I mean, we did that. If anybody has a better way, yeah. I mean, you want to donate a storage shed? That'd be great.
I don't want to have this conversation. I just want to tell you what the law is.
Yeah.
This gentleman wanted to speak, but I jumped in.
I'm Justin on behalf of Renewal Ranch, and I just wrote something that I wanted to read. Good evening, neighbors, friends, and members of the board. At Renewal Ranch, we believe in transformative power of grace and humanity. The individuals we serve may be homeless, struggling with addiction, or facing challenges that many of us can scarcely imagine. These challenges don't define their worth. They have been part of this community all along, often unseen and unheard, but they are as much a part of this village as any of us is. We aren't bringing them here. We are simply acknowledging their presence and providing them with compassion, accountability, and opportunities that they need to rebuild their lives. We understand that the concerns our presence may raise, but I ask you to consider the bigger picture. Through partnerships with organizations like SOS, Catholic Charities, Rural Ministries, Fidelis Care, New Hope Center, and many local churches and other organizations, we are providing services, therapy, and access to rehabilitation programs that change lives. We are treating people with dignity and respect and offering them a chance to heal from trauma and break lifelong cycles of poverty and addiction, slowly but surely. Anyone who's spent any time with them knows that it cannot happen overnight. Um, Lives are being transformed, however, not just for our friends in need, but for us that are helping them and for our entire community. As John 3:18 reminds us, dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. That is the work that we are doing here, being the hands and feet of Jesus, loving in action and lifting those who need it most. We humbly ask for your understanding and support. Let us work together to show grace and to make Owego a place of hope and redemption for everyone who calls it home. And just two quick side notes to that. I do believe, if I've done my research correctly, that we are listed as partners with the village and the village police department as part of the grant that they received in helping housing and helping with disparity of the homeless that allowed us to get 3 new police officers on the village police payroll. We are listed as partners with them, if I've done my research correctly. So that's just a thing to think about. And the last thing is, I used to be one of those people. Not a homeless person. I would have been a person that turned my nose up, looked at them, had something to say about it, but I spent some time with them. And what I would say is the same thing with anybody else. Everybody always thinks it can't happen to you. But the question that I want to leave you with is, what would you do or say if this was one of your family members? Thank you.
I'd just like to say, anybody who has never been addicted to anything or have gone through recovery, they don't know that the first important thing in the road to recovery is admitting that they have a problem. So I commend you guys for directing these people in the right direction, because that's the first step. And that's the step that we couldn't do. We tried and they wouldn't go there. They couldn't get past that step. So for you guys to take them past and to that first step, that opens up the doors for us to be able to open up doors to help them. So I like to thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment.
Mike Martin. All right, first of all, being on the planning board, nobody's egged my house. Or approached me in the grocery store and had any problem with any of the decisions we made.
Congratulations.
Personally, I love the Legion sign. I think this is ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. My biggest issue with OHPC is the fact that people that are on it live in the historic district. I think it should be open to anybody that lives in the village to be on that board.
It is. It is.
There's people that don't live in Owego that are on that board.
They live in a town.
Yeah, they live in the town.
Jeff Smith lives in Owego?
Town.
Or Tom?
But the way I read
It's
it,
not the historic.
in the village's thing, that in order to be on OHPC, you had to live in the historic district.
I think some of the people have to. There's different types of people on it.
Yeah.
They ask for certain skills, more than residents.
You know, the engineer or whatever, because there's not one in the village, one outside of the village, but, you know, all of the people that are on OHPC pretty much live in the historic district. And to me, that's a little bit of a conflict of interest. Because, yeah, okay, you might be interested in the historic issues of the village, but you're also concerned a little bit about your property values too. Okay?
So are you.
And the grant money.
Yeah, and you know what grant money you're gonna get when other people in the village can't get grant money because it's not available to other people in the village.
See, the certified local government provides for the entire village, the grants that come in for the entire village. And that is linked to the OHPC.
And you're talking about slumlords. I know quite a few landlords that do a lot of evictions. And a lot of them would love to fix their properties up so they can get better quality of tenant. But there are no grant monies available for them.
There's no grant monies available for us to fix our houses either. Just to clarify that.
Great. It's required.
No.
The landlords can't get them because they're multifamily homes.
Folks, Mr. Giovanni needs to
Anyways.
address the village board and not have a
No.
conversation back and forth.
My next thing, that car I talked about 2 weeks ago in flat, talk about was, it's still sitting there. Ain't a ticket on it. It's been sitting there basically since the parking lot got paved.
That's in the high lot, right?
It's in the high lot. Big old tarp across the windshield, probably doesn't even have a windshield. Huh? 3-year parking.
It's a 3-year parking.
3-year parking.
3-year parking, apparently.
Yeah, 3 years.
You just made that up. They're the Varneys.
Every once in a while, he comes up with a good one, not very often, once in a while.
Might I address Mr. Giovanni on that matter?
Sure.
Well, the Traffic and Safety Committee has been doing slow work, or work turtles. I have 2 pages of things that, notes from the village traffic code, parking code, and one of those notes is where the 96-hour limit that you can be parked in a public place is, and it does not include the municipal parking lots, and I have written down here that we should change that so that it does include the municipal parking lots. Just so you all know.
I think if you go by VMT, municipal lot, you can only park 72 hours and it's considered a abandoned vehicle and you take it and tow it.
I'm only going by the village code.
Right, but you also have to go by the VMT law. Unless they changed that in the 4 years I've been gone.
I couldn't tell you, I'm just telling you what our code
Which is
says.
possible.
So anyways, that is something that we are considering.
They're always complaining about parking.
Just that one piece, just letting you know that one piece.
Just, gonna come time when Fred's gotta have his guys go in there and plow that. Just cover the car up for all I care.
Trying to clear up.
We'll bring that up to Joe again. Anybody else? Public comment? Everybody's gone. Okay. Press that up a little. Now we got Jerry. You're gonna talk to us about EV charging?
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin, nice seeing you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I know, I'm seeing the tape. So, good evening, everybody.
Sorry, your system wouldn't work. Drive, get your presentation, you have to wing it.
What do I do?
I'm saying, sorry, your computer thing didn't work.
Well, don't be sorry for me, I'm sorry for, Jim Bitker, who's, from Value Stack Energy, who's agreed to be here tonight.
Sorry, Jim.
Who's waited all this time, I told him to go walk his dog or something. But anyway, I'm just gonna say a few things, we tried, should I be facing this way?
Any way you want.
Whatever.
We
Yes,
tried before the meeting, Mayor Barata was trying to get, the slides working and they do not, and it's not critically important because I think you know where these sites are. It was mainly part of my own education to make sure I knew what I was talking about, so here they are, if you want to, I'll send them through to you, via online, I'll send them to you by email. So I want to tell you tonight why I think you, the Village of Owego trustees, should give the go-ahead to Jim Bitker online here, Value Stack Energy, to work toward getting the village a grant to install electric vehicle fast charging stations at the Hyde parking lot just talking about. This would end up being free of charge to the village, whereas it would be several $100,000 to, if we didn't have this provided through a grant from the DEC, ZEC program that he could tell you about. Okay, here's a map, you have to use your imagination. here's a map of the southern tier, and there are quite a few, maybe 20 EV fast charging stations in the southern tier, but there's a big gap, and that gap is in the village of Owego. And you know how much traffic we have coming through to Ithaca, and that, on Route 38 up North Ave and so forth. We have tons of traffic, and it's long distance traffic oftentimes. And where are they gonna stop to charge their EVs? So I did a little bit of research, and I found out, there's a clump in Banton, and there's one in Elmira, some in Vestal, but you know, the common denominator is that they are at car dealerships. Who wants to spend 20 minutes to an hour at a car dealership when you have a car and you just want to get it charged? And one is a motel, so that makes sense, although it doesn't, because if you're at a motel, you only need a level 2. You don't need one of these highfalutin expensive level 3 chargers at a hotel. You're going to sleep there, and it's going to charge. So it doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody who just needs a fast charger quickly go to a hotel, do nothing for a while, not even check in, to get their car charged? You know, the little, you know, people don't make decisions to make sense that makes sense a lot of times. So the uniqueness of Owego is there's tons of things to do and places to go for 20 minutes to an hour. And we're the gap on the map. So it's very cool. We have an opportunity it's just such, when I realized how much you can do in 20 minutes, I got so excited today. I know that seems very strange considering all the things we've been talking about tonight, what I got excited about. But enjoy a meal or snack at Owego Original Cellar Restaurant, Kayla's Kitchen, Owego Donuts and Beer.
Is this an advertisement for these places?
Groceries at John's Fine Foods, which is right there by High Lot. Community shops, you can even get a meal there, I think every day. You can pick up windshield washer fluid in the winter at Napa Auto Parts and AutoZone. You can go to the antique stores, attend the climate-friendly potluck at First Presbyterian Union Church. You can go to River Row Bookshop, see Laura. You can go to Coburn Free Library. All these places, 20 minutes to an hour. It's wonderful, and we need to have these in Owego. I know the county is planning to install what I thought was 8. It was 4 stations, each one having 2, but oh no. It's the first time you've ever seen stations with one plug-in site. So they're only getting really 4. So when those 4 are filled up, guess what? I mean, and I picture in the future, we're going to have a great need, and it won't be offered free to us. So that's my thing about, and it's not a done deal. I mean, Jim Bittker knows it's not a done deal that we're going to be getting this. He just wants your permission for him to try to get it for us. That's why he's here, and that's why I'm plugging and hoping that you'll say yes to him. And he's here to answer any questions and to make it clear any important things you would need to know to make that decision. For him to just go ahead and try to get us the grant.
Jim, we can't hear you if you're trying to talk.
While we're doing that, what's happening on the county in our lot there, the combo lot?
It's going forward slowly.
And who's paying for that?
So it's a grant, it's 100% paid for through the county.
Keep testing, Jim.
Okay.
Laura, does this
And
have any connection to what you're trying to do?
Is your volume down?
This is an
No.
addition to.
That's what usually happens to me.
Laura's charger would be a charger for us
it'd be on our property for us.
in the DPW grant.
Yeah, I can't hear now. Jerry, how many chargers would this be?
This grant. It's not definitive. He gave us a proposal for 3 stations, 2 each, which would be 6.
Okay.
My understanding is that, you know, he's gonna try to get the grant that's actually gonna be accepted. And that may mean, throwing on 2 level 2s, or whatever they think is gonna work to get 100% of the funding.
And will this, can I say something? Will this take 6 parking spots out of Hyde Lot?
It would. Well,
Just asking.
that proposal,
If we move the
it's
car,
not definitive
put the
how
thing on
many.
it,
Oh,
move
right,
the
that's
car
only
and the
5
thing on it,
spots.
it's good. I'm joking.
Now, the big question is,
That,
where
that
do
one car that's there all the
yeah,
time.
with the tarp,
He's just waiting, he's an electric car, he's waiting for this charger.
yeah. Just waiting to charge it up.
We should have tested
The
this
other
early
question,
on, I guess.
Jerry, would it be better, like, we were talking about this a little bit before, would it be better somewhere a little higher than High Lot?
I mean, Hyde Lot floods,
Yeah.
like, when it rains hard.
They can be built up quite high.
Yeah.
Electricity and water doesn't.
They would be looking into that. They would also be looking in primarily, initially, to whether the power could get there, you know, through NICEAG, you know.
We received an email about that last week,
Yes.
about putting EV chargers in the floodplain. And it wasn't advisable because we would have to protect the utility services, like the insurance.
Oh, flood insurance.
We would have to have flood
Which is-
insurance
So
and
the ones the county are putting in, we have to have flood insurance on them, because that's our contribution to them.
yes, and it's also
Theirs
it's
was
a
cheap.
higher area, so that's in the 500-year floodplain.
Right.
And the stuff that we're talking about for the Hyde Lot is well down deep in the.
That would be one of the
special flood
first
hazard area.
things that Jim mentioned that
Jim's
they
got
would
his hand
learn.
raised. I don't know if we
You
can.
ready?
Yet.
So, like, if we
Maybe
could,
it's on our end, I don't know.
we could take advantage of, we could
Sign
take
language.
advantage of the, I think we could take advantage of the offer, but just look for a better place that's a little bit higher up, out of the floodplain, so that we would be able to afford the insurance and.
Which becomes problematic because part of this whole idea was to have it downtown where people could do things. I'm just saying, that raises another problem.
There are
Problem is
other,
downtown is the floodplain.
well, there's other areas in the downtown that are in the 500-year floodplain. There are spots that are higher up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we even talked about in front of the police department. That is.
Yeah, would it limit
significantly higher
doing
than-
them actually on the street? Because some of the streets are on higher ground than the
Right.
lots.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, I was
thinking about the lot behind the theater, the ones not, I don't know how much that floods, I mean, I was thinking, right, as you enter that.
At least not when it rains, but that's probably in the same 100-year flood.
We
Okay.
dropped that down from 19 or 20 spots to 12 spots, and if we tried to put in 6 of them, we would have no spots back there almost.
Well, as that would be part of the research that Jim would be doing.
Yeah.
It would rule it out immediately. So he would learn that, but I think what we need to decide as soon as possible is like whether he can find out more.
Yeah, I'm in favor of exploring and trying to find a place where we could, look to seek the grant.
Maybe we can get a nod. If, Jim, if Hyde Lot tends to be not welcome because of the flooding level, if you find that to be not acceptable, just like some of the members of the board do, are there other alternative sites that Value Stack Energy would consider in the village? You could nod yes or no.
Can you talk to them on your cell phone and put it on speaker?
Oh,
Mayor,
how about that?
Mayor, if I might?
Yeah.
Well, you could call
Put 'em
it,
on
put it on
speaker.
speaker. Rusty?
So, once again, what we need to, one of the things we need to do here, is good process. So many times we'll do something here and we'll say, oh yeah, we want you to look into this, we want you to go forward. We need to be definitive when whatever decision we're gonna make is how far we want him to go, what we're approving, what we're not approving. We need to do a better job on this stuff. It sounds to me like we for sure want him to do some more.
What does he read?
To do.
I don't know what's that say,
He's got
Jerry.
his phone number up there for
Oh, he's got his phone number.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. Jerry's gonna call you.
I'm calling.
But depending on what kind of decision we make, we need to know what exactly we're going to enable him to do. If we decide we're interested, we want you to move along and find us some stuff, but we haven't made, once again, like many times, we haven't made that final decision to do it. You know what I'm talking about? We need to make it clear.
Much
Yeah.
better.
Can you
We can hear
hear?
it.
Okay, sure. So let me just try to give a 1-minute overview. And that is, I'm independent. I used to work on behalf of the NYSEG RG&E Small Business Program. I used to work on behalf of NYSERDA. I work with the #1 EV infrastructure contractor in Con Ed in New York City, and then the #1 contractor in upstate who works with NYSEG and RG&E. What we did 2 years ago, the DEC Zero Efficiency Vehicle program offered grants. We work with Seneca Falls, Trumansburg, Shiloh. We work with a dozen municipalities. We won 28 out of 29 grants. The program was stalled for a year. It's back and it's open until the end of February. What we could do at no cost or no risk, we could apply for a grant. We put together a concrete project proposal that has a chance to win. And we would have a very good idea about the likelihood of winning if it was a good location and it was cost effective, etc. Long story short, we're happy to partner with municipalities, and this time around we're working with Ontario County and about a dozen more municipalities, and we're putting together project proposals, and we'll do the application. There's no cost, no risk, no obligation until the grant is awarded, and then you make a final decision if you really want to go forward. But the beautiful thing is, for Owego, the village, is there'd be zero cost share. So between the NYSEG Make Ready incentive and the grant, it'd be zero out-of-pocket costs. And as long as the village charged more for the cost of electricity and using this equipment, you would make money. Plus, we would bundle in like 5 years of service, so you don't have to worry, about the operations and maintenance for 5 years. So it's very straightforward. So the question about a good location, we can work within a flood zone, and that's where, Julie has been very, helpful about what is a flood zone, and we would follow standards, off the ground, and we could explore that. But maybe we look for a second backup location. And then depending on availability of parking, if it made more sense to have, say, 4 parking spots, 4 fast chargers, fine. If it made sense to have some level 2s, yes or no, we would determine that. But with an on-site visit, talking with NYSEG about the power upgrade, then we could go ahead and put together concrete numbers. But we know at the end of the day there'd be no out-of-pocket, because we would ask for the grant to be every penny that wasn't paid for by NYSEG. And again, we make it very easy, but we would want to have a project that we all feel comfortable, we have a good chance to win, and from our track record, we feel very good about projects, before we submit them.
Can I ask a quick question? Will we be paying these folks to do it at all?
There's no cost, and if you move forward, there's still no cost except for there would be a cost that would be the equivalent of what the NICEAG payment, the village could just assign that to the contractor. The contractor would be a firm called Jacob. So you would assign that incentive over to Jacob upon project completion. They would get that. And then the rest of the out-of-pocket money would be the exact amount of the grant. And the way you can negotiate, after winning the grant, you can get most of the grant paid upfront to pay for deposit for equipment, and then with the final small amount paid when the project's completed. So you can do it without a cash flow issue of fronting any money. But so of course, there would be a cost for the project, but you would only move forward when you know it was fully funded with the two sources of funding.
Do we pay him or his firm any money?
No.
Okay.
So no cost to do the application, to explore this. There would only be that eventual cost if you choose to ultimately move forward. And then at that point, if for some reason, we're leapfrogging electric vehicles to hydrogen, you can say, okay, well, maybe not.
Laura.
Don't ask a question you know the answer to.
No, so they said they would offer 5 years service on them, but how long is the life expectancy for a unit? Like how long would we expect to have the infrastructure working?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, it's reasonable to expect, they're not that complicated. The software is constantly updated. I mean, I don't know, 10 years or so. I mean, there's no reason not to. In fact, we could talk about extended maintenance and warranties and things like that. But what we do is because we're proposing for full funding the full grant, there is an option to go forward, say 10 years of extended warranties and all the rest. There's some pros and cons, and then asking for the funding because it is a competitive grant. However, in some of the documentation I can send, fast chargers actually can make some good income because you're charging more than the cost of electricity. And these projects will be money makers for you. And you can charge multiple tiers. You can have no cost for village vehicles. You can have a discounted cost for, say, people, who can prove they live in the village. And you can have a third tier cost, for people who are traveling through.
Mr. Mayor, from that proposal, it checks a whole number of boxes that we are interested in. One little box that doesn't get checked on a lot of these things is when we have these options to go out for grants that we can always, at the last minute, back out of. That's a little piece of the puzzle, because if we do that a number of times, we get spanked for doing that. They don't like that. We go all through the process, take up all the time and trouble, and then at the last minute back out. I'm just saying that's a little piece, but every other piece of this certainly has no loss, no downside that we can see at this moment.
My question is, when would the application be due?
He said February.
The application is due February 28th. The good news is it went from the dreaded grant portal. It's now on the consolidated funding application. And when I worked on behalf of NYSERDA, I did hundreds of CFAs. And I've been through, I'm doing this again for, a couple dozen projects. So I can do it for you. that Jerry had about places, amenities where people would, the reasons for why it's a good choice for funding, because, you know, in between Binghamton and Elmira, you're not too far off of 86 or 17, or, you know, so I'll just look for a little input, but I can do 98% of the application for you. Yeah. And quite frankly, it's competitive. There's only a little under 6 million. We were very successful last time. There's no guarantee this time, but that's one reason why, you know, we'll make a great effort. And I think the Village of Owego, you know, has a real strong case, you know, for winning funding. And we have a great deal of experience, you know, even though the contractor, Jacob, is relatively small. We've been the go-to contractor for M&T Bank, for the Rochester Airport, you know, Ontario County trusts us, and then we have, you know, about 15 to almost 20 municipalities who can all give good references.
Make one more quick thing. Jim, is this time sensitive? Many times, if we don't get the grant in before somebody else gets it in, the pot of money's gone. Are we time sensitive before the 28th?
No.
Good.
They don't even evaluate them until the deadline.
Okay.
When they're all due.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Mike wanted to speak.
Oh, yeah, nice guy.
So, 2 data points. There is an Gateway charging station down by the Hilton, or not the Hilton,
Right.
the Hampton Inn. Yeah, it's out of the town. I don't know who it belongs to.
That is how,
Okay.
It's got, I'm just looking at the pictures that they
Six,
got.
yeah. It's,
They-
nobody lists it. No site that any EV owner would visualize, because all EV owners, believe me, they plan. They know exactly where they're going to charge. And theirs isn't on any of those sites, so nobody's gonna go there.
I like that echo.
But the other thing to consider is you're worried about putting a flood zone, and these are in the flood zone just as much. And what they did is they put concrete steps up in front of it and put it on a concrete pad like 2 or 3 feet high, so it's elevated out of the flood zone.
So the sidewalk in Hyde Lot, you know what I'm talking about. You put that along there, we could get that, like, killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Right.
And then do what he just said, at least how I was just looking at that and I thought of you.
Do you hear what they're saying, Jim?
Yeah, in fact, that's where Julie Nucci has real expertise. And so, that's something we've already been looking at. You know, I mean, we'll have to analyze just how high these stations would be. But that happens to be one of the questions in the CFA. You actually have to give a map and explain whether or not you're in, you know, a FEMA flood zone or not, and if so, how does the design reflect sustainability through those conditions? So while we don't have an answer, you know, that's something we'll address before we would submit a proposal.
Hey, Mike, Mr. Mayor? As much as I don't like doing things immediately and not think about them, et cetera, this is another one that sounds really good, although I would kind of like us not, I'd love him to start it up, but I'd kind of like it not to be contingent on,
your phone.
I'd like it, kind of like it not to be contingent on Hyde Lot. I'd kind of like him to start, if we're gonna do it, like him to start the process, but we kind of need to sniff at Hyde Lot and maybe ourselves sniff around a couple other places before that goes. Yeah, Mike, you think that? Earl? Dave, you think that?
I believe, yeah. I mean, we have an interstate running right through the village too. That was just designated as an interstate.
Yeah, I just switched it.
Just gonna pick up a lot of traffic.
We'll get more traffic because of it? Why?
If it's designated an interstate,
He just means when
It's always.
17 becomes 86, we're gonna have
Well,
more
it is.
traffic, yeah.
It just
It
did.
did.
Yeah,
It did. It did.
just for, yeah, but for a chunk.
All the way to Endicott.
And more convenient exit.
Yeah, Rodney's got a, could we add more in county lot? Like they're putting 4 there, but could we add these there as well?
Well, that back little corner, that back little chunk was a good size.
It's a wonderful area. Nobody knows about it.
Right.
Have to have signage. Right,
Well,
but
as
I
you
mean,
said-
an EV car driver will know.
As you said, EV car driver will know about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Dugan House is, yeah, will really, move ahead. But that's a, yes, you're not limited, Jim, to,
Doesn't bring them into our stores and restaurants and.
And they're level 2 chargers, so they're not fast chargers.
if you heard that, they were talking about adding to the county's proposed 4 in the courthouse lot.
At the city of Dunkirk, and we looked at 4 different locations, and we're actually gonna go for 4 different grants for projects at the 4 different locations. Now, these are mostly level 2 projects, and we won 5 separate grants for the town of Shiloh in Rochester for 5 different locations. Now, these are level 2.
Right, whole different ballgame.
So what we'd be interested in is a list of potential addresses and locations. We can look at Google Maps in advance, and then my colleague would come there with his excavation team and his electrical contractor. They would look at the multiple sites, look at where the available power was to pull from, and then evaluate from there. And then if it made sense to pursue multiple projects or which location might be best, we can make that decision together and then go after it.
You guys need-
Wide open.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to get Jim a list of possible spots. Yeah. And give him the go-ahead to go ahead, I guess. But.
Yeah.
So we're gonna maybe.
A short walk is a real plus.
So maybe we're gonna make the kind of motion we're gonna make that'll get it right, is that we want him to start the process up, pursue it, but the final decision place is not has not been decided yet.
Right.
That might be the kind of motion.
That would be the kind of motion we want.
Sure, and we can make it a lot easier to make, an informed decision about what would be the top choice, what might be a backup, and a third, and at that point decide maybe a second spot or a third spot might be okay for level 2 stations. Those, there's a much higher chance of winning those grants because most of the project cost is covered by NICEAG. So it's a smaller ask for the grant. It's a smaller amount. The level 3 fast chargers, that's much heavier project.
But that's what we need, the 3s.
Yeah. Well, we probably need a combination because we've got residents that need to charge their vehicles too, eventually.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that
Well,
out. Maybe if we had 6.
Only in a project where there's no availability of having it. If not individual homes isn't easy. You have your own.
Well, remember, we have a lot of renters that don't.
Right, exactly.
We'll figure it all out. Maybe it's 4
Yeah.
4 3s and 2 2s. Who knows what it is?
Yeah. And there's no obligation. We could say no to whatever options they come up with.
Clark Street lot is a really good higher location.
That's not in the blue there.
That is owned by the village.
Right, the actual.
The outline of what he proposed, one of his draft proposals had a high estimate, I felt, for what the revenue would be. And I told Jim about that, but because it's really about 40 cents is what their per kilowatt hour is what the going rate is for level threes around here in New England, everywhere I've been.
Of our lots,
40 cents.
you were talking about the Court Street lot, but
Cheap.
that is problematic because that is full and there's not a lot of extra spaces there. That's not
Extra parking there.
that's a tough place.
It's prime traveling for consumerism and tourism and, and that's where you place gas stations. You don't place, I mean, this is like a power station for, future, right? But, it would be a nice place to explore. The movie theater lot is half in the 100-year and doesn't look available for us. But yeah, I think we should look at this, these possible locations and
Absolutely.
the spaces and explore.
I think
But if
Kevin
we're-
would like to do that as well.
If we're sniffing at the Court Street lot, we might as well be putting them over there in the other side of the courthouse lot.
Right.
If we're sniffing the Court Street lot, because that other side just doesn't
Other
have
than we
anybody
don't-
filling up the back end of that.
Other than we don't own that.
We'd have to figure that out.
County or something.
What are we gonna do, guys? Girls? Terry, what are you thinking?
I think we should make a motion
Yep.
to let Jim explore getting this and, grant money, and then we can figure out the location would be to be determined.
So, final approval, not gonna be in this motion, final approval won't be in this motion. We want him to start up the process.
Not with the
And
final.
very interested, want to start the process. Does that work for you, Jim? Did you hear that?
Yes, he said.
I think you said yes.
We've got one project at the town hall / DPW, one at the courthouse, and then another one in a park, actually. So a park is, a park tends to be good for a level 2 if someone's just visiting for a few hours. It's just a nice little amenity. But in any event, the level 3, the DCF needs, you definitely want to have nearby bathrooms, restaurants. You want people who can get out of their car for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, spend some money in town.
Yeah, so what you're saying, Jim, is that they're all, what did you say?
Put it in your back.
I tried that. So what you're saying, Jim, is there's all kinds of combos of location and all kinds of parameters, but the basic, what you want from the board tonight is just permission to go ahead and explore all of those options.
I second the motion.
Well, we haven't made one.
Okay.
So what are we making a motion?
What's Jim's name in his company?
Jim Bittker.
Bitker.
Bitker. And who does he represent or is it himself?
Nice Cernet and Nice Set.
What's his firm though?
ValueStackEnergy.com.
So I'm gonna make a motion unless somebody, did you want to say something before I do? I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Jim Bitker at ValueStackEnergy.com or whatever, ValueStack Energy to move forward on applying for the grant for us, but the final decision is not yet made. Am I saying that right?
You don't even have to say that. Just.
I don't have to say anything.
But
When we say move forward, we always mess it up and people get the wrong impression. That's why I'm trying to add into that motion that it's final decision. Location and final decision not yet determined.
Acceptance.
Does that work, Jim?
I'll second that. You can.
Shake your head.
I'll third it.
Thank you.
Hold on, Jim, we gotta get you out of the box.
Say that again, please.
Yeah, no, we're in this together
Yep.
to get to the point of having a decision
Yep.
whether or not you want to move forward. But first we want to get the potential projects, quantify them.
Yep.
Secure the grant, and then you make a decision, yes or no.
I understand that. We weren't waiting. I understand that we don't make the final decision until we have the grant. I was trying to get a step below that, where we're moving forward. And you know what I'm doing. And Rod's gonna read that back before we do it too.
Here's where we got them. We gotta approve JV of the values.
Stack Energy.
Yeah, Stack Energy, to move forward on applying for a grant for the village, location and final acceptance not approved yet. What else you want?
Sounds good.
That sounds
Good. And that was made motion by Rusty, second by Terry.
Yep.
Okay, let's vote.
Yes.
What are we on?
Rusty.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave. Yes. Brandon.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
And yes.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jim and
Obviously.
Jerry.
Actually, Jerry.
Good luck with that.
Historical Society for this? That's what it's called.
Let's get these guys ready.
Thank you so much, Jim, for your valuable time that you've taken.
Yes, and all the work he's gonna do.
We liked your meeting. Have a good night. Good luck.
Like their meeting.
Nobody likes our meetings.
He had respect for your tough decisions. Thank you.
Not too fond of them. Department head reports.
Ooh, thank you.
Start with EMS. Got your paper here.
Oh.
Yep, got my paper. So far, we've had 107 calls for the month of November. 8 of them were mutual aid that we gave. There were a bunch that we received mutual aid, but I don't have those. As you guys know from our discussions earlier, there are people that are volunteers that are volunteering not to show up and cover EMS calls because of the current environment we're in. So hopefully we can try and put some of that to bed on the 12th and get everybody back on the same page. As far as vehicles go, 2031's got about 29,000 miles, no issues. 2032, we just took it out of service and sent it to New Jersey for its re-chassis because we hit the deer. So we just got the bill for the tow down there, so it's in New Jersey out of service. And I took it off the state paperwork, so that's done. 2033's got 161,000 miles, no issues, running strong. We've had a couple hiccups with the stretcher, but we think it's people problems. 2034, we're still working on getting that into service. We've got a hiccup with the narcotic safe, so we're working on that.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Anybody know how to open it? No.
Right, exactly. If you can open it, let me know. That way you can replace the lock on it. The other piece is when Justin gets back from his time off, we're gonna put the radio in it. So then those are the last two pieces of the puzzle. And then I fill out the paperwork to New York State, send it in, and then we can start driving it down the road. Our video laryngoscopes, the training is gonna be held on the 4th at 6 o'clock. So that's tomorrow night. Right? No, 2 days. Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm losing my thoughts. Cosmetics came and did the evaluation of the stretchers. They had to order parts for 2 of them. So they had hopefully they'll be in this week, and then they'll come back up and service 2034 because they didn't get to that one because it was over next door here getting serviced at the time. We did have the demo for the Zoll monitors. So on 12/10, we're having LifePack come and do their demo of the 35s if anyone wants to come and see. So that way we've got them both and then we can evaluate. Narcotics license needs to be updated due to the department head changes, and I also submitted the paperwork to New York State for just overall changes with us and the region, so those 2 were done. And as I mentioned, 2032 was removed from our department health list. And as I mentioned, hopefully on the 12th we can get better agency direction as to where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. And then just as a reminder of our old business on the back page, the central station issue.
I'm gonna I'll keep reporting that into our DTA.
Thank you. Figure we'll leave it there, and that way we don't forget that it's an issue until we can come up with a solution, hopefully, you know?
So quick question about the narcotics license, is Steph's not gonna be an officer, is she still gonna be a narcotics? Or has that been decided?
That has been decided. It hasn't been made public yet.
Okay. I don't know, you don't have to do it now, you don't have to tell me now, I just, is Christina still a narcotics?
Christina's always gonna be, is the primary,
Primary, and
and
then,
we're going
and
through.
then either Steph will be a secondary or someone else will replace.
Yes, we
Okay,
will have
that's fine.
two of them.
That would be the-
Yeah, there's other things going on with
Yep.
that as well that
Yep.
we can
that's
talk
fine.
about offline if you guys choose to, maybe on the 12th.
Okay.
So, all right, any other questions, comments, concerns? All I can do is ask you guys to support all members of the agency to help them show up.
Yes. And I hope that, I don't want this to sound bad, but I hope that our providers and members are, they're doing, right, their mission of supporting the community, not necessarily playing the games that everybody else is playing.
Yeah, it's a challenging time for some people.
Yeah, well, we're gonna take care of the morale.
All right, well, thank you. I'll pick up my toys and go home.
And thanks for waiting.
Thanks, Mike.
And thanks for taking this on in this time, you know the deal.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah. Uh-oh, are you done already?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, he said yeah.
There's an awful lot that needs to be done. Sometimes it's overwhelming.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I know. It's safe.
Who's next?
The safe, yeah. We'll crack the safe.
All right, I will keep it short and sweet. You have my report on the paper, but there is one thing that I need to bring up to the board. Is that I've been talking to a couple of people about the cost of filling fire trucks up. So I went out to Mr. Talkett and got a estimate of getting a well punched and seeing about saving money. It was costing us way too much money going on Violet water. So in front of you is a tentative quote from Chuck Talkett. The first one I just want you to look at, it says 25 feet. This is his dad writing this estimate. Junior, Mr. Second, believes it's gonna be 50 feet. So we're still looking at 3,000, and that's what the 3,000 there is for the 50 feet. And roughly, that's a great estimate for $6,616.
This is for the well.
So if this is a good thing to go, that you're looking for it, you guys let me know and I can have Chuck get us on schedule.
Where would we do?
Total is 66?
So it's so this is not to dig a brand new well, this is to repair a well, which is at the.
No, this is a brand new well.
Okay,
We cannot use the well at the old cream.
okay,
It did not produce.
okay. So where?
But that's good to check.
Right next to it.
Okay, so this will be at the fire training center. Where there is a well right now. So we
But it's filled up from over the years from the creamery.
put a
For
second
people.
next to it, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be next to it, just drill it.
So we didn't want to, Mike, can I jump in here? I was out in the hall for just a second. So the idea is to put it up there instead of putting it down here on our property?
Well, here's the other kicker to that, the fire truck. It'd be an access place for them easier to get around the well.
Up there?
Yes. And I can pull power quicker there. Because we don't have power anywhere out here unless we pulled it out of the building.
I don't know what kind of power they've got there at the training center.
So it needs 110. Pull it out of
That
the
we have.
building.
Will we make an agreement with the fire corporation to lease that for 50 years or whatever we do?
We
would have to, yeah.
We have to lease it though?
We have to do something.
They gave us the permission.
Permission can be withdrawn. We need a contract for years.
Yes. They're already for it.
So that we can use it, A, for fire trucks, street sweepers, that kind of stuff. anything that's not drinkable.
Right,
That won't be potable, it's just.
right.
Well, let me just ask you, what kind of cost is involved when we fill a tanker truck?
A lot.
Well,
I don't know, I'm just saying, like a lot of money,
Yeah.
cause you're using fuel,
just for comparison.
How much do we know?
put it this way, when we fill the pool up,
Gallons?
it's $2,400 to fill that pool up.
And the pool's 90,000.
90,000, and ooh,
How much is a fire truck?
We've got more than one, so I'm not sure.
I know.
It's not hitting me right this minute. But of course, we've got sewer trucks, we got all kinds of trucks.
absolutely.
Yeah, how much does that sewer?
I don't know about sewer truck, but our street sweeper is 1,000 gallons. And he fills that up in the fall and in the spring heavily,
Right.
like
Couple
twice
times
a day.
Yeah. So we're
Now,
going
this is gonna be stupid.
Well, this is my, go ahead, sorry.
This is gonna be stupid, but not completely stupid, depending on how much trouble it is. Maybe we take one of our fire trucks when it's time to fill the pool, and we'd make 10, 20 trips over there to fill the
But
pool.
here's
I'm just
the-
saying, who knows?
No, but here's the kicker to that though, Rusty.
That's just a
But no,
side
but
thing.
listen, here's the kicker. It's not a tested water, so it's not gonna be usable for that,
for the pool, even though we're
for
not
the
gonna.
pool or anything.
Okay,
And the other problem with that
okay, that's
is,
fine.
no, I just wanna let you know this, how it works. Us going out of Viola to fill a pool saves us a lot of money because it's chlorinated.
Right.
Already.
It's already
That's fine.
It's already chlorinated.
That's fine. I'm
just
just
wanna
trying to,
make
I'm
sure
just
that
trying
you
to
know
think of
that.
more
Don't
ways
believe
that
me,
save
I would
money.
love to be able to get water.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
No, my whole thought was, I mean, is this gonna pay for itself?
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably in the first month.
Yeah,
First month,
absolutely.
well,
Well, then the fire company, the training alone will pay for this.
Yeah, so the fire department has an issue where if they go mutual aid to another district out of the village, then we have to pay to fill the fire.
When it comes back in here to Vail.
Mhm.
Yeah, great.
Or if they use water during training, we have to pay to fill that. The only way they get free water is if they're fighting a fire in the village.
Well,
Crazy.
this won't make anybody popular, but it won't make me popular, but several people today asked me, do we have a better use, as much as we love our people and for instead of giving the ARPA money to part-timers, and the ARPA money is about $6,000.
Okay, so I got a little silver bullet here.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So our ARPA money really is $14,506. Because of how everything shaked out and some things came in lower, that's what we got left.
We might be able to do a nice, a little taste for our people and do this. Can we use ARPA for this project?
Yeah, yes. So my proposal would be to give, which this is down on the agenda, but to give the part-timers which qualify, which are 8 of them.
But that's all there are is 8?
All there are. $800 a piece.
How did we get to the 8?
The same rules that we used for the full-time, everybody that got it. As far as they had to work during
the
certain
COVID
dates of COVID, and they had to still be with us working now.
Because I was just talking about this, and one of the things that I was saying is, just for my thought process, we have 30 part-time police officers, and I love them all, but I only want the ones that actually worked 10, 15 hours a week or sometime. I don't want guys that were part-time that worked one day in that whole time. I want there to be something there.
We used 100 hours as threshold.
Okay, so you've already come up with it.
Yeah, I see 9 of them on the sheet. So we were provided a sheet. Did you get it in your mailbox?
Of what?
So we got a sheet it lists the officers' names.
No, I don't have
and
that.
the time period that they worked in and how many hours that they
No, I
worked.
don't have that.
So it tells you how many part-time officers.
That's fine. I'm
For
glad that
accountability.
somebody's done the work on that to figure out how many.
And then also the spreadsheet. So can you print it for Rusty?
Yeah, we can. There was one person that didn't work.
Yeah, so there would have been 10, but there's 9 on here.
Just quick question, So there's, police officers, how many DPW guys? Is Dave Thompson one? Thank you. That's important to me. And then, how about anybody else we might have skipped? Did we skip any department heads because of they're not in a particular thing or whatever? So all department heads that were here got taken care of in some manner or form. I just want to make sure we're getting everybody.
I think they were included in the full-time.
Oh, I don't know. You talk about the police names?
I don't know about Joe.
Yeah. Woodburn, why is he not in yellow?
I think because he hasn't worked.
Well, he did work the necessary hours in the timeline, but since then it changed, but he still is qualified. And that was explained in the sheet. Burkhardt, Rollison, Thompson. This is the one that didn't work enough hours.
Okay.
Benek and
Okay. So most of these guys are the police officers.
Most of them are, yeah.
And police officers certainly are out there in the public, so they certainly were. But anyway, doesn't mean that everybody else isn't deserving too. We just don't have much part-timers. We don't have many in the other departments. Okay.
And the way I got $800 was that's half of what we gave the full-time guys.
Not if we have the money, that's not a bad number.
And that would leave us enough money to do the well.
Oh, I like it. It's working for me.
So it's a win-win.
Hoping that we can divvy it up.
So are we pretty?
We did check into that, so the people that are exempt are us.
So I want to ask more question about the well. When can he do this well?
Oh, that I don't know. I have to find out. If you vote yes, then we'll call him tomorrow.
Is it winter time or is it gotta wait
No,
till?
he can do anything. As long as the ground's not frozen.
But we need an agreement with the corporation and the fire department before we do this.
So I would say vote contingent on that agreement.
I make the motion that we accept the bid from Chuck Talkett Well Drilling of $7,000 maximum.
Right.
Did I do bad?
You get a little more, just to cover it.
Oh, I know, it was 60, it was 66. You tell me what we need.
Well, if it's gonna be 50 feet instead of 25, that would change.
I don't know, I
Yeah,
pay
so I
attention.
don't know where this is gonna fall.
Well, what do you think?
What Mike said, we had the 8 left over.
You think we'll have 8 left?
Round.
$8,000 maximum was what I said, if you weren't listening closely. Prove it, Chuck Talkett. Well, estimate well drilling, up to $8,000 contingent on an acceptable agreement with the fire corporation.
Because it would be on their property.
Right.
Yeah, that's where it will be on the
Corporation.
fire corporation.
Because that's the nonprofit branch of the fire department that owns that piece of property.
Yep.
Who's second that?
I'll second it.
Okay.
wait, can you say what it is again?
And we're taking that money from.
We're gonna spend up to $8,000 from ARPA money to Chuck Talkett to do this estimate on a well on fire corporation property contingent on an agreement.
Do we have to competitively bid the?
Because it's,
It's under 10, right?
I don't know what the number is competitive.
Nate, what's our number for bidding? I think it's 23 something.
20,000 for competitive bidding for purchases of stuff.
What was the number?
20,000.
How about for this well, do we want to drill?
That would be public works, so 35,000.
All right, then I want us to drill 7 wells. I didn't do the math right, but I didn't do the math good.
Okay, so the motion is to take that from ARPA money up to 8,000. Contingent on agreement, it's obviously gonna be on their land. We obviously wanna use it for our, not just fire trucks, but other stuff.
On their property and, yeah.
Village equipment.
Let's vote on that. Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Yes. Fran,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
and yes. Now should we do the other ARPA thing? So all the ARPA money has to get spent by the end of the year, which means December.
So are there 8 or 9 people?
I would just say the people that won the money, have $800.
Move that we give, award, move that we, whatever,
I'm gonna freeze.
whatever word we use there.
Distribute.
Move that we give each of our part-timers that, each part-timer that worked during COVID and is still employed with the Village of Owego, $800 from ARPA money. Does that sound right?
It was like worked over 100 hours or more.
Well, then the qualified part, that worked a minimum of 100 hours.
Right. During the dates or.
During
We
that,
had dates.
during that
Specific. dates.
1 year, yeah, I know, it's getting too long. The one, wasn't it a 1 year,
Yeah,
the same,
3/2020 to 2/28/21.
there you go.
that worked that time frame, at least a minimum of 100 hours, and is still employed
We give them $800 each.
out of the, out of ARPA money.
Who said that?
I'll second.
What's the actual location of the well? Where by the fire station?
By the fire training center.
In the training center.
Railroad tracks there.
Should there be a fence around that to protect it?
It's all self-propelled. So you throw a valve on it, it's got a bleeder in it. Anything that we don't use waters it back in the well.
Okay, all right.
And then we use our own hoses, tie up to the hose, throw the valve, you got water.
No bollards or anything around it?
Well, we could probably
protect
put
it
bollards in there.
from
Yeah,
a
that's
truck
not big.
backing into it?
Yeah, I can do that ourselves.
But we didn't put any of that in the motion, but it's certainly
No, but
discussable.
Yeah. It needs to be
I'll do
protected.
it.
Although not now, because we're on another different motion.
Now we're on the part-time guy. So we got a motion and a second. Let's vote on that guy. Fran,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
and yes. Okay, so those are all good.
Well done.
How about our friend, the traffic light? Got anything?
Yeah.
Discussion of traffic light.
Did we get anything back? I know you had a couple of quotes on it.
No, I have not gotten a darn thing since Thanksgiving. I have
That's
not
just a
gotten
piece you had, right?
anything from
I might
anyone.
have one of mine too someplace.
Okay. The memorial bench, this is just on here, so I communicated with the people that came, that there seems to be some sort of discrepancy within the family, and that's our hesitation.
And so it's not approved. Don't,
Right. No, I
did
said,
did you tell them, don't be buying this
yes.
yet? Good.
I said you need to work that out before we can,
Before you buy something, before you spend a bunch of money, don't buy a sign
yeah, right,
before you know.
or a granite bench.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do the electric vehicle thing while Fred's still here. Nice sort of thing.
Okay.
What's the outlook on that bench?
They need to work out their own thing to come to us, right? Because we've got conflicting,
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering what you guys are deciding.
we're not deciding anything yet. It's,
Okay.
don't do anything.
The mayor's talked to him. Don't buy a bench because you don't have final approval to have that bench.
Not that we're against the bench, but we don't want to.
Right. I totally get it. I didn't know what you were.
Controversy.
Yeah.
It's not been decided yet.
So for the vehicle and let's do everything because it's all posted DPW and code. Okay. So for the CEC, which is a Clean Energy Communities grants, I got quotes for things. So Fred helped me with his person for the state bid. So I sent an email, and I'll just show it off to Rusty while we're here. There's the vehicle, there's an example of a vehicle with all the specs. And if we, so as my understanding is we could approve spending up to that limit. And then we would put it in the newspaper that we're searching for a vehicle, and within our timeline, receive any extra quotes for it, and but we probably won't, but we would just follow our procurement policy for.
It's on a state bid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we can just buy it off that state bid.
Correct.
So we don't have to get 3 bids or any of that crap, we just get to buy it.
Right, but it's gotta be in the paper saying that's what the village is looking to buy. We did with the dump truck.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just have to say like that we are going out for state bid, or that we're like, these are the products that we're looking to buy. And so there is a local vehicle that meets our, somewhat local, that'll meet our specs. So
It's even white.
it's white, yeah, yeah.
So what is it?
Hyundai.
It's a car?
Well,
Okay.
it doesn't have to
What is
be,
it?
but it's a Hyundai
Something
Ioniq 6.
five.
Ioniq 5.
Something 5, what is it?
Ioniq?
Ioniq 5.
Ioniq 5. It's more of the.
Iconic.
It's more of the
Ioniq.
Blazer.
It's like a hatchback kind of.
Yeah.
Little SUV.
It's a little
Well,
SUV.
if you looked at the 6, I'm telling you, it was a Matchbox car. A little Charles couldn't even get in it.
The 6 looked like
But
a,
it's close.
it looked like a bean.
Yeah.
It was like a bean shape.
Yeah, it was bad.
And the 5 is a more traditional
Right.
SUV
I've seen
that,
the
and it's a
5.
little larger that like will be able to fit inside the,
The same name on it.
Mick can fit in
One of our
Yeah.
paramedics has 5.
yeah. So Mick can fit in it and feel comfortable. And anybody else, you know, on the village who could be using it. You know, we could use it to travel to trainings or whatever, you know.
So we got the grant, when we buy it, we can have the money, do we have to pay for it at a time and then get the money back? How's it work?
Yeah, there's a, we've already got 25% of the money, and we purchase it, and
You
then,
just have a purchase order, and they reimburse you.
yeah, so we'll get 40% of the money right away, and then we pay more, and then that we get fully reimbursed, and it could take us like a month to get whole.
Which is nothing, that's.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I'll believe it when we see it here in a month, but that's.
And we're not talking the millions of dollars, we're talking.
57. 57 more?
Price?
That car?
The car's 57?
I think it's 57. But that's give or take a few thousand because he wasn't 100% sure. Plus we get $7,000 back after we get the car on taxes.
Yeah, so we get the incentives and the discounts will come off of that price. So if I can
We
get
have to pay it up front and then we have to fill out paperwork to get reimbursed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it you need from us? You can just tell
Okay
us.
to get it.
So for that vehicle, let's see what that total was. It's, oh, and it's a higher quality one.
What was the model number?
The limited.
Limited. Ioniq 6.
The limited.
Ioniq 6, Ioniq 5.
IONIQ 5.
Okay.
And the retail price is $57,499. However, we'll get some discounts and incentives off, which will reduce the price by a good $8,000.
But that's after.
So we already, I mean, we did already
After, yeah.
approve that to purchase this, a vehicle, this vehicle, some vehicle.
Yeah, so for tonight, I guess it would be that we would be approved to purchase it up to like say, we could say 58, and then, because then they take the incentives and the discounts off, it would just cover it, the full price of it, and then we get it back.
Right.
I mean, do we need a unlimited
Limited
top of the
edition.
line
That's all they have.
loaded
They have the
to
state
the
bid.
hilt, you know?
From state bid, that was the only one that available. So you want it to be, if it's 57 something, you want it to be 60, how much leeway do you want there?
I mean, is there any tax or
Well,
that kind of stuff?
We won't pay tax.
Then
because
You do
we're
not pay
a
taxes,
municipality.
but there's incentives, like she was saying, after we purchase a car that we can fill out paperwork, you get another 8,000 back.
Sure, but we still want to make sure that we have a big enough number.
But right, but what I'm saying is that.
We're gonna
we
get
don't
the money
pay
back.
tax- We don't pay the tax on it,
Yeah.
but they can't give us a discount for the $8,000 because we're not paying tax. So we have to do that ourselves.
There's,
What about
there's
like
gonna be like a,
registration and?
yeah.
We gotta do all that.
That'll be like he said something about like a $200 fee for the plates and registration sort of hookup thing.
We do all that.
Yeah.
I just want to know what number you want to put in as a top number.
You get a heck of a discount for plates. It's really very cheap for plates for the village.
Right.
So if you say 60,000, and it'll definitely come underneath that.
So, well, yeah, that just means up to, we're not going to spend it.
And how much was in the grant, do we know?
When I submitted that part, it took it was like 43 or 42 at that time because it had the 8,000 off in the number.
So what happens with that? When you submitted that, do we get to spend 57 with the 8 off? Do we get to, it was 50, it was gonna be 42, now it's 57, it's gonna be 49. How does that work when you submitted that?
Some of the other numbers have wiggled around, so I think we'll be able to make it work. And in the end, whatever we spend will most likely come out of the solar, what's left of like what could be given to the solar project. But these numbers are coming in under what we thought originally, and that got approved. So the other numbers, well, the numbers that came under are the landscaping equipment. But we can jump to that. All right, the landscaping equipment at Owego Agway, they have Echo products.
Correct.
And their quote is $5,039.78. Home Central Owego has DeWalt equipment, and that's $7,040.38. Power and Paddle of Candor has steel equipment, and that quote is $8,603.47.
We know steel and DeWalt. What was the first one?
Echo. So what that is 3 chainsaws, 3 blowers, 2 hedge trimmers, and 3 trimmers, 15 batteries, and oh gosh, it was like 3 or 4 of the quad chargers so that we could charge all the batteries. So each of the projects comes with a battery, and then we're getting an additional 15 batteries. So our workers will have constant batteries and batteries charging, you know, so they'll never run out. So say if they're like in the cemetery with your weed whackers, right? Then you'll just be, you know, you've got your 45-minute after 45-minute batteries.
Dave wants to ask a
pop
question.
up.
But these gonna be, I mean, when you go buy an electric drill or any electric equipment, they always give you the cheapest, lowest grade battery. All right, and then you have the option to buy a 4-amp battery.
Yeah,
6,
1.5 amp,
8,
4,
10.
yeah.
You know, are these gonna be upgraded batteries better than the original ones? Or are they gonna be a
The power
bunch of batteries that only last an hour?
the power and paddle batteries were the steel
brand.
Yeah, he just wants to know what batteries they are.
Yeah, there's different grades of batteries.
Yeah,
We wanna make sure we're getting the best bang for bucks for the money, for as far as batteries.
Fred, you good with all this stuff?
Excuse
You
me?
good with all this?
Yeah, I don't know anything about Echo. I know a lot about DeWalt.
DeWalt Steel, we know, but Echo, I don't know anything about either. Who was that one from? Egway?
Agway.
And I just don't believe, and I've talked to Laura about that for the cemetery. It'd be more or less used for the guys down in the village. But the cemetery, those batteries are not gonna last. I'm sorry. But they would work great for in the village.
Yeah.
And tell me who the DeWalt was.
Home Central. So yeah, I wanted to support
Myself,
local.
I think steel makes a better product.
You think Steel's better than DeWalt?
What's the difference in the price between the DeWalt and the steel?
$1,000.
Yeah, like $400 more for the
Do you have
steel.
enough in the grant to cover?
Yeah.
8,600 for steel.
Never mind, but repair options are really important.
Yeah.
But you got Mike 86 for steel.
Yeah.
And they will also give us, when we can trade in our old, and they would give us
Seven?
credit
So it's $1,600
if we
more.
did.
But you talked about local, one is Jimmy out at Power and Paddle, and one is
I've already went to
Central
Jimmy.
Town.
I
So,
went with Laura and talked to Jimmy about his program.
so we're satisfied with both of them being local?
Yeah,
Just
Joe's
asking.
Joe's Sun Equipment, they're a steel dealer too.
And that's who we do our business with.
Looks like everybody needs a break.
Okay, and then the EV chargers, they're level 2 EV chargers. And they would be just for municipal use, and we only have like the one vehicle that we would get. So this would be installed on the building next door, in or on, right? And there's 2 of them that we would do. So the price per, there's from the Vestal Lowe's, there's charge point that meets our specs for $564.12. On Amazon.
That's each, right?
Yep, each. We want 2 of them.
Lowe's.
Lowe's of Vestal, yep. Amazon, I found the Autel, and that was $569. And Home Depot of Johnson City has the charge points at $647.14. So I would think the Lowe's price and the charge point charger was the one that we were, the brand that we were.
What do we have to be wired into something? How does that work?
We would hardwire it in.
Hardwire it in.
We've got Rick install it, but what about the materials to install? Like, do they take, it must take some pretty heavy duty wire. That stuff's not cheap.
I don't know anything about that.
Or it just goes off the 120 line and comes off a regular?
Probably 240.
So it's it's
Yeah, I
a,
would say 40.
yeah, it's a 240 amp, or 240 volts, but the electric box, we looked over there, and there's multiple breakers that we can put it on.
Conduit and then all your
Yeah.
wiring.
Well,
And
the
so-
wire is probably,
It's gonna be expensive, the wire.
last time I bought,
Yeah,
8 gauge, it was like $500 for a spool.
yeah. It's not much. All right, so we'll put it in now.
Is there a reason we want that to be outside or inside, and about room inside, et cetera, Freddie?
Yeah, I have enough room. I'm scared of leaving something like that outside.
Yeah, I think it would be inside.
Yeah.
I can have enough room that could fit behind my truck. We'll have enough room.
But for 2. She's talking 2. I thought you were talking 2 2-volt chargers.
We would get 2 chargers.
She's talking 2 chargers.
Right. but
I'm
it's
sure
only
you'll use one more than the other wherever you install them,
No, I'm just asking, you're talking about some room for one.
I got room for one. I mean, we can do something that,
hey, let's buy two if we have the money. Let's put one inside at Freddy's, and let's put another one in the back room, and we can figure out where it's gonna go. Maybe we get an electric vehicle for the police, maybe it goes over there, maybe anything, maybe. But we don't have to have a spot for both of them immediately, do we?
Typically, like further on, they both have to be working, for us to prove that, like, we're using it and,
Okay.
to satisfy the grant.
Well, here we go again, then we can put it over OPD, we'll pull the code car over there a couple times a week and charge her up.
They have a hybrid they can charge.
They do?
Yeah, one of their trucks is a hybrid.
We
So-
don't have to decide right now, we're gonna buy two, we don't have to decide where they're actually gonna go at this minute. Right?
Right. Yeah, when we get into the.
Yep. Yep.
So anyways, if we could, so I would entertain a motion that we, okay.
Okay, thanks.
Nice and short and sweet.
And we have to do them all each separate. Do the
Yeah, each of the three things
do the
separate.
car and then do
Yep.
the.
So that we,
Car first.
motion to approve, up to 60,000 for the EV car purchase for code enforcement through the state bid process.
Do we need to, I will second that, do we need to know the name of the car, or is that not necessary in this?
Probably. Hyundai.
I think actually when the thing goes out, we have to say like it's a like we're looking for a 2024 all-wheel drive SUV, and we like can't, maybe we're not allowed to pick exactly make and model.
I don't know, it's your game, I don't know.
It would have to be comparable to the unlimited that you've got a price on.
Right.
Yeah.
You
So
couldn't-
it's like,
You couldn't
yeah.
get an ST model.
Yeah, this is the 2024.
Ioniq.
5 limited.
So shall we put that in the motion, the model? the car-
Comparable.
Yeah.
That car or comparable? Does that work?
Yeah, right. And then like when we advertise it, if somebody finds a better price, they can let us know.
That doesn't go in the motion.
Yeah.
5.
I don't like the idea that it's unlimited. When my guy over the sewer plant wanted a Jeep upgrade, I shot him down and made him go get a quote for
Well,
something
then you have to wait
15,000
later.
cheaper.
So wait longer.
Yeah,
That's all.
because we're paying for that, but we ain't paying for this one,
Well, still, it's somebody's money.
but not ours.
That's not a Jeep. It's a shirt.
No, point taken, David.
That was what was in store. So,
Rodney, would you read that motion back, please?
Well, we got a motion by Laura, second by Rusty, to spend up to $60,000 on an electric EV car for code on the state bid. It's gonna be a 2024, comparable to a 2024 all-wheel drive SUV comparable to an IONIQ number 5, limited sport.
Hyundai.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
It's not gonna be a 25, it's gonna be a 24.
For 60 grand, it should come with a charger. Phone comes with a charger. Never mind.
Yeah, couple for the battery, don't it?
Okay, let's vote on that car. Rusty.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah.
Fran. Yes. Terry.
Yes.
Carl. Yes. And yes.
How about those two chargers there, Sailor?
Okay, so then a motion to approve the purchase of 2 level 2 EV chargers. From the Lowe's Vestal quote. Choose the Lowe's Vestal quote from the quotes.
Up to $600 a piece?
Oh, yes. We won't have to pay tax and stuff, and there's no shipping. So, yeah, let's just say,
We always say a little more.
yeah, so,
$600 a piece.
yeah, we're getting 2, so, yeah,
Up to $1,200.
Up to 1,200.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Char?
Yes.
Deanna?
Okay, and then for the landscaping equipment, I motion to approve a purchase of up to 9,000 for the steel equipment from Power and Paddle for that quote.
Do you need to name what the equipment is?
Oh, it's for
Still,
steel equipment.
I know, but I mean.
all the,
So it's a landscaping equipment, chainsaws, blowers, trimmers, batteries, and chargers.
now go into motion, all the things that she said, the two that's the 14 batteries, all those things will go in.
Okay, that's what I'm asking,
Um,
for the list, yeah.
Did somebody second that?
Second.
Okay. My only discussion is, do we want to get a quote from Joe Signs? Since he sells the same exact stuff.
And we do most of
So this one is,
And we do a lot of business with Joe.
so we got Jimmy out in Candor and we got Joe right up here.
We deal with Joe.
Okay. What's your quote from Jimmy in Candor?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we want him to beat. Joe, you gotta underbid your brother. Let's go here.
We already go there for maintenance and stuff.
Great thought.
Let's need some more smarties, we're getting smart at this.
Yeah, Rod's trying to get us smarter.
I'm not putting down where you're buying, I'm just putting. You guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my only,
So we're approving up to $9,000 for steel. Do we have to say where we're buying it?
Steel, how about a steel dealer?
Okay, from a steel,
I like that.
from a steel dealership. Yeah, I'll amend it to get steel products from this local steel dealership.
there we go.
Second that.
Okay, let's vote on that. Fran?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Char?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? And yes. Cross that off.
Anybody know?
Next thing.
Thank you for taking that first sign down on Main Street. We're able to.
Just for you, Charles.
The street is visible now from coming off of Page. You can see Main Street.
Well, that's good because that's illegal.
What's illegal?
To take that sign down and leave the other sign up.
Well, they're both the same sign.
Yeah, they're both the same sign. One is in our code at a proper position, the other is not. We took the sign down that is legal in our code.
Well, legally, it's safer.
I'm out of here. Next
Tell
question.
all the people here that have been talking about following the laws and everything.
Next question, do we need a quota? You guys need a quota for the Friday or anything?
Maybe. What's happening? Oh.
Lights
the
on the
lights on the
river.
river.
Maybe, is it gonna be around somewhere?
Yeah, I'm not gonna use it.
We'll get in the garage.
I'm not gonna use it.
The
Put
lighted
it in,
car
we put it
parade.
in, my stuff down there.
Somebody want to drive it?
I will have mine if you want for warmth.
Is it heated?
Sometimes EMS or fire might want help in the cops, and so maybe they might want
Well, you gotta let me know beforehand.
wheels. They said that they sent out a incident
Yeah, I already got it.
thing.
Yeah.
Does it say anything about it in there?
I don't think so.
It didn't.
We'll
And
figure
they
it
didn't
out.
request
Yeah,
it.
just give me a call, let me know, or text me whatever you want.
Okay.
Should be done.
Thanks for doing
Call,
it.
event plan.
There, we had to cut 6 foot of it off.
The incident plan for
Or
lights on the
fit
river.
into the tree stand.
They sent it out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fred.
Yeah, you're welcome.
They sent it on an email.
They sent it to them, but not to us.
What?
No, she's asking me.
Oh.
Next
Sorry,
thing
keep doing this. Sorry. keep doing this.
You're fine. Yeah, have a good one.
discussion on special use permits in flood area code, section 195.32. This is a Nate thing, because we've gotten emails
Because he's
from,
asked us to do that before.
right. Well, we've got some revised emails from Elaine about some suggestions. So I asked him to give us a little synopsis of what Elaine is trying to tell us If we could figure out.
And she was in here in a meeting with us and said a whole bunch of this stuff.
It's all you, Nate.
Oh, good, here we go.
You're on mute.
Can't hear ya.
Sorry. Yep. So back in September, I had put together a draft law that just completely removed that section from the village code. The idea being that it was duplicative of the protections afforded by the flood damage protection law, which of course requires a flood permit before any development can happen within the floodplain. And so as long as someone meets the requirements under the floodplain damage prevention law, you could go forward. There was no need for action by the zoning board separately. And so I think back in September, several folks on the village board had expressed some concern about completely removing it. Nothing has been done since then. As part of the conversation, nothing's been done formally since then. As part of the conversation around this law, since that time, Elaine Jardine had mentioned that there was some possible alternative language that we could consider or utilize, and she mentioned how, and I think the town of Owego, they have a similar provision, and effectively they require that any commercial development need a special use permit under their zoning code, but they exempt out residential construction, or single, two-family, three-family type construction. A multifamily apartment, large multifamily development would probably still require something like that. Really, that would take a cue off of the property tax classification, just as trying to draw a distinction there for you. And so, again, that would be a modification to the zoning code. It would be by local law. The idea being that we exempt out from this special use requirement any residential uses, but effectively, if there's a building permit that's needed for any commercial uses, then a special use permit would be required from the zoning board. At least that's the proposal or the thought, anyway.
Well, that's Elaine's proposal, I guess.
Right.
So I've been spoken with the code about this 6,000 times. And I have 19532 here in front of me. And some of the problems with it are that it was required the zoning board of appeals to have a meeting and to issue a use permit for every building permit. In our 117 flood chapter, we have places there where it says if you're going to do new construction or what we determine to be substantial, which is 50% damage to a house or something, then you have to have extra permits. That being the case, and then looking at A, B, and C, and D in this 19532, Nate's original suggestion that we eliminate that chapter completely would be my recommendation. It's the code's recommendation. We have the protection in 117. We do not need to have the zoning board be doing this, especially for any building permit. And probably we do not need to make the determination between a residential and a commercial property. They should have to get the permits for either one if you're doing new or substantial construction, which is also in 117. So I'm going to recommend that we take this entire chapter out.
Yeah, my big thing with this whole chapter is it was put in place, you got the code book there.
Yeah.
1960.
Yeah, it doesn't say right in front, so it's whenever that stuff
Anyway,
happened.
a really long time ago.
Yep.
And probably zero people have ever followed that.
Yes, and because we hadn't had a flood since 1936, like 2006.
Right.
So all this stuff is new. So I'm going to recommend that we we're going to have to have I'm going to make a motion that we eliminate this, that Nate drop a law to eliminate this, and that we have a public hearing. So that will be the motion. That
right, not to do it, but to have Nate draw the law.
Nate draws up a law to eliminate section 195-32 And we have a public hearing next meeting on that, on that law. Nate, does that work for you?
Um, Theoretically, yes. I'm just trying to think through the timeline. So this is a zoning change. It would require 239 review before you can take action.
Okay.
It might need to be referred to the planning board for an advisory recommendation. I think, drafting the law, I think I've already drafted it from back in September, but formally having you folks at your second meeting in December, referring it to the planning board for an advisory opinion, sending it out for 239 referral, and then scheduling your public hearing at your second meeting in January would be the timeline that immediately
I'm
jumps.
going to take the scheduling of public hearing out of the motion, and revise the motion to, have Nate, drop the law and have it be submitted to the planning board and,
239.
and a 239 review with the county. Is that right? That's the play?
Yeah, that would be fine. And I just need to just double check if it's a referral to your planning board or the zoning board. So
Whichever
it's been a little
one.
while since, yeah, whichever board needs a referral.
Whichever of the boards, either or both, whichever is required.
It's the planning board.
And we will, that's the motion.
No public hearing.
Nope, take that out. Somebody second that before I talk some more.
Second. There we go, second.
And then we'll schedule a public hearing after these things are accomplished. Now, does anybody have a problem with that?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of it. We would be removing our protections for our residents or their, the people in the property, like the special use permits and having the review creates the process that creates the records that we have to have on file for showing that we are protecting the people in the property in the floodplain. And so if we remove the laws that functionally guide the process, how can we fulfill our duties and jobs? Like, it's in the law that we have to be in the enter and remain in the National Floodplain Insurance Program. And so we need to have these reviews by the committees and have our records. That floodplain permits have been reviewed.
So my comment to that is we are fully protected under a flood damage prevention law with all that.
Oh, yeah.
And like I was on a call with FEMA and Julie Nucci and Elaine and all these high-level state and federal people, and I said, directly asked them, have you ever seen a municipality do this with these special use permits? And FEMA flood people said, no, it is. We shouldn't tell you not to go above and beyond, but you went way above and beyond.
And the problem is, once again, that this requires it for every single building permit. I mean, things that have nothing to do with anything. Your house, everything is within the boundaries and the BF +2 and blah, 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 blah. And you got to go to the zoning board. They got to have a quorum. They got to meet for you to get a building permit to do anything. That's way overboard.
Well, a prime example of this is our fire station roof, right? We're doing work there that requires a building permit on a tower that's 150 feet in the air. And we've got to have a special use permit for a flood.
And not only something from the code that says we believe that this is okay. It doesn't it doesn't require the chapter 117. No, it has to go to the zoning, and they have to issue the special use permit.
It's very
Basically, that
burdensome.
tells anybody that you wanna get a building permit, well, that's gonna be 2 months to do anything in the universe.
Or longer. I mean, it's very burdensome on.
If they don't meet, it's as long, that's just above and beyond.
I know people complain about that the boards may not meet or they may not have enough people and stuff, but we haven't had anybody apply. Like we in the village code office, the DPW, are not having people who are applying for building permits actually go through the whole process and fill them out. So, our DRI projects aren't actually going through the whole process, like residential projects, other projects, they're just not actually going through the process. And now we're just going to try to change the law, knowing that we're not following the law now.
But we will follow the law because we're gonna change it. So we will be following the law. We're not following it now because it's been determined that that's kind of foolish and a building permit really doesn't need all that. So that's what's been decided for the last 50 years. And now we're saying, well, it never did need it and we don't do it, but let's make the law comply with what we do if it's logical and it follows. That's what we're doing.
But how do you go, like, it's a real admission that we know we're not following the law because we're trying to eliminate it, to get out of it. But we have a whole backwash of building.
What's that got to do with this though? The fact that we didn't follow the law, and we have a whole bunch of things that we didn't do right. What's that got to do with we going to try to make it right from now on?
Because we're eliminating the protections that protect our citizens and our economic future for our, if we just allow people to put up signs, replace porches,
You're going other place.
everything
You're going someplace else here.
I'm
with
having trouble
no
figuring
permits
out.
whatsoever. We just eliminate all the permitting process here
We're
and
not
all the
eliminating
zoning,
permits, we're eliminating an
You're
unnecessary step.
eliminating special use permits.
Only in that.
For
specific-
minor building things. If you do construction, you still have to have them. If you do 50% or substantial repair, you have to have them. We're just eliminating it from the tiniest little building permit.
We have a whole flood damage prevention code
That will take care of those other things.
But our law wasn't written in the way that it covers the review process. In chapter 117 doesn't cover the review process. Our review process is covered in 195.32 for areas subject to flooding. And that's the way the law got set up at that time.
The whole chapter 115 is 117 is about areas subject to flooding.
Kevin, is that you?
Yes. I just want to say I think it does need work on it. However, the more eyes you have looking on a particular issue, the better. If you only have one, which is the code enforcement officer looking at it, if they miss it, it's a big miss. If you have 5 people from the zoning board looking at it, maybe they'll pick something up that needs to be enforced. But I do think that it needs to be refined so that it's not for every little thing.
Yeah, that's the issue now, is it's for every single building permit we give, basically in the whole village, has to go to the zoning board. That's a lot of work on that. And drags out the process for anybody trying to do any little thing. And makes them, if the process is too cumbersome, you're just gonna do it and not get a permit. Like, that's the end of the deal. People are just gonna do it. If we make it too hard to get a permit, people are just gonna do it, they're not gonna get a permit.
That is what's happening now because we don't make them get permits.
Cause it's too hard to get, cause it takes 6, 8, 10 months, like Cindy was here for.
But we never actually had Cindy go through that process for her special use permit. She is just building without going through.
But those are examples of, if you make the process too hard and not streamlined, nobody will develop, so nothing will get fixed, and anything that needs to get fixed will just get fixed in the nighttime or on the weekend or whatever.
Yes, we knowingly watch people illegally build, and we do not do anything about it, except if they're low income. You know, we do kick out people out of their apartments and homes for, you know, some things, but we're not enforcing it for other people.
But we will be enforcing more of it because more people will be doing it, basically. If we make it too hard to do, to get a building permit.
So I expect, because the rules to get a building permit are included here in chapter 117, that I assume that when somebody goes to get a building permit, if it's going to be related to that the people that work for us will bring that subject up. I'm assuming that that's the case. Maybe not. That's what I would think.
Right, if you wanna replace your whatever deck, I'd much rather you get a permit than not get a permit, because you have to wait 6 months to do it. I'd much rather you get a permit and get inspections, have it be safe, rather than do it with your buddies on the weekend, because you gotta do it this weekend. Not 2 years later.
Anyways, I don't think it was the intention of the people in this village and that have done things for years and years and years to have a building permit be this cumbersome.
Right. I mean, it's almost impossible to get a building permit right now. To do it correctly.
And Mick is trying to, he's the floodplain manager. He's trying to put the flood stuff into things, but he doesn't think that this is
I mean, our code enforcement officials.
the way to go about it.
And state and federal level have all said that it's overkill.
We have a motion and a second.
We do.
And the motion is to have Nate draft a law to remove it completely, so that's.
And send it to.
That doesn't mean it's done, that means we.
And send it to,
Talk about it.
and send it to 239 and the planning or zoning board.
So let's vote on that. Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
No.
Dave,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
and yes. Okay, so Nate will do that. Keep you posted on the status. And eventually we'll come for a public hearing.
Yeah, assuming, and of course, assuming that it passes 239 and it passes whatever boards have to say yes or whatever, yeah. And that would be the next.
Next thing, discussion on Marvin Park proposed signs. So James sent these. Luckily he didn't slip through our whole meeting. So he's just looking for feedback. Like nobody told him what to put on here, so I assume they're just boilerplate.
Did James made these signs up?
They're just generic.
I'm sorry?
They're just generic. So
Yeah,
we can tweak them.
I think the sign people actually came up with them. But
Yeah.
nobody asked us.
This is not written in stone. That's why we're discussing this now, because there's some things we're gonna wanna change.
So I have some comments. For the first one, we could change it to say no open fires.
This is the Marvin Park one?
Marvin
Yes.
Park, welcome to Marvin Park sign. So there's an icon of a grill. And so that we change the icon to look more like a campfire, and then have the text say no open fires. Because with that,
That makes sense.
Because we
with
have
that,
grills.
yeah, with that, people would still be able to use the grills, but like, keep your campfire cooked into the appropriate locations.
Right.
The next section, if we could just remove it completely.
It's for motorized scooters.
Scooters or motorbikes, what do you mean?
Yeah, no motorized scooters or motorbikes.
I don't even know what a motorbike is.
I don't know. I think like a bicycle with a motor.
Yeah.
One goes down my street.
Like a moped.
There's electric bikes everywhere.
Electric bike.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
bikes
They
are.
have those there.
Yeah.
That's
Time to
I
change.
think
it.
it's like a old rule, and maybe we can just sort of skip that like,
It's a park.
They're,
We want people to
like,
enjoy themselves.
of course, we don't want people on like, if they stay on the biking trails and stuff like that, that would be good, or like on the paths, but
I mean,
the kids are
honestly,
gonna navigate to the park on their bicycles and they're gonna go to the skate park and.
We don't have any rule like that now. We don't seem to have any issues.
This isn't say bicycles, this is motorized.
Motorized.
I'm not saying it should be there or not, I'm just saying that.
But I don't think our overall park rules for the park say anything about motorized things, so if we just remove it.
So just remove.
Doesn't have to be there.
Yeah. And then for the trash can one, it currently says place all litter in trash receptacles. What I think we should change it to is something like take all trash with you
Carry
or
in, carry out.
carry in, carry out.
That's fine. This is a carry in, carry out.
Okay, yeah, so
Everybody
this
familiar
is
with that
a carry in,
terminology.
carry out park.
Is there an icon we want to keep it at? We want to keep the trash can?
Yeah.
I would keep the trash can.
Put a line through it.
Yeah.
Put a line through the trash can.
Maybe.
No, what we need is a picture of one of our good citizens with a shopping cart full of metal and things.
Carry out your own strap.
Yeah.
And then the last one, it says no vehicles allowed on grass or sidewalks. And everybody parks on the grass next to the pool. That's the only place you can't park.
Yeah.
Right? So we could change it to say, parking is restricted to designated areas or signed areas. To designated areas.
Of course, there is already, we have a law and a rule that says you're not allowed to park in a non-parking designated area. I'm just saying we have that.
So let's
But
use
this
that
is
word.
this is not just parking.
There's no vehicles, meaning.
I mean, you can't drive on it. You're not supposed to drive on the grass or the sidewalks, not just parking on it. I'm just.
Well, so we have an opportunity to say no vehicles on outside of whatever spaces and no vehicles on the track.
You know what? You're asking for an awful lot of stuff on a parking and a sign.
Yeah.
If you put too much on here, people aren't gonna read it.
They're not gonna read it anyway.
I think, I was thinking about it, Laura, like we were discussing on Friday. I think maybe we should keep it like that. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because nobody really drives on the sidewalk. And the only time that vehicles park on the grass is when they have those special events, the picnic and whatnot. And the police are always there to guide whoever.
Yeah, the fair, the
parking, the
picnic.
fairs and all that stuff, so. And the parking over there by the pool, that's like an unwritten rule, and there's no other place to park, and everybody, that's where you park.
Do you want to remove the whole section?
Yeah.
And not have it? Okay. And now because we talked about removing two whole sections, do you want to put something on like the hours of the park?
We could.
But the thing is, the hours change.
We haven't even decided that we like this sign or we want this or anything. I mean, it's not like, oh, this sign is set, and now it's just, we're gonna fine tune it. Oh, we don't even know if we want to do this.
Well, so as far as the sign goes, this is the vinyl that goes on the sign that's there.
Yeah.
So the shape is set, basically.
You said it's a vinyl that goes on the what?
The sign that's already up
At the gate there?
at the one you drive in.
Okay.
So it'll have this very nice touch.
So the physical sign is there, it's just what do we put on?
Yeah, this is gonna go on sticker decal.
Yes, the sticker, basically, which we thought was easier change than, I guess.
Carry in, carry out. That's Friday, November 2nd. That's 5. I mean, that would look nice. If we skipped the first and the last, or the second and the last. And made those other.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, have a nice day would be a
I
nice
think they'd
thing.
be big enough, people would be able to see them.
Yeah.
You'd be able to.
Yeah, if you get rid of those two, make the font bigger.
Make it a little bit
the
larger
font
for the
bigger.
others. So no open fires, carry in,
Fill that
carry out.
So, I mean, and some of this stuff is, there's a difference between a rule and nice. All pets must be on a leash. Please clean up after your pet. There's two different things there. No pets on a leash is a rule. Please clean up after your pet is nice.
Yeah.
You can put all kinds of nice if you want.
I like the fighting people.
I think I'd like to see somewhere on there, right at the top of the list on the rules is enjoy yourself.
Required.
That's number one.
Enjoy yourself required.
You could put that at the bottom,
Have a
enjoy
great
this
time.
park, or, yeah.
Please follow the rules and enjoy.
How do you want to word that, Dave?
Have fun.
We got 67, we got 67 rules and,
Have a good time.
and after all that, enjoy yourself if you can.
Party on.
Garth?
Just enjoy your day.
No.
So we don't have to worry about you being destructive.
That's, now that I like. That I like.
You come in the pool, yeah, you jump in.
Yeah, you can come in the pool.
Yeah.
But we have seen you in the park.
I got pictures of you.
Maybe
Get you involved in a game of pickleball.
I'm not a big fan of a big long list of rules, but whatever. And especially stuff that's just regular stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
No fires is a good rule. That's a good thing.
Yeah, so when you finally come, we don't want you to catch on fire and get rolled over by a motorized bike.
Yeah, it's like the restroom. Wash your hands. Like,
Well, we're gonna get to the restroom in a minute. Let's stay on this one first. Let's stay on this one.
We could take out the word please and just say, all pets must be on a leash and clean up after your pets.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think please is even in there. You shouldn't be a slob with your dog.
That's the nicey nice part.
Well, cut it out.
You don't want poop in the park, so let's not be that.
Hey, I like that. No poop in the park. That goes babies too.
and adults.
I don't care. Finish it up, Laura. I don't
Use
care.
that poop emoji.
There you go.
Oh, no.
It smiles.
No.
So with those,
Anything, can you still
So
hear us?
you want the pet's okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Something's wrong with it.
What about the disorderly conduct?
it doesn't have to be on there, but it's like, you know, whatever. It'd be nice to have a rainbow of colors. We would be keeping 5, so whatever.
What about
I
two
think it'd be nice.
unicorns not fighting?
Do we want to keep the no vendors and whatever, behave yourself one or whatever?
I mean, it says no vendors except by permit.
Yeah.
So that would be good for the
No
fair.
vendors without special permit.
Right.
Yeah,
or something.
I get a little tiny one.
Yeah.
So no food trucks going in there for the afternoon all by
Right.
themselves.
I think that could be a good revenue source. We allowed food trucks to go in there, rented them the space and get a commission on their.
Yeah, but I mean, somebody can't just drive their food truck.
Oh,
in
right.
They'd have to have a
park.
permit.
Yeah.
Do a snow cone cart.
No,
Exactly.
I don't care. So where are we?
I guess we're just waiting for the meeting to come back on.
So they can still hear us, but our webcam is not liking us.
Probably stops working after.
So,
Yeah, probably after 10 it quits working.
So for this sign, if we change the icon and then say no open fires, we'll remove the section about the motorized. We'll
Cool.
change the section, this is a carry in, carry out park. We'll
Yep.
change the word please to and in the dog part, or the pets part. And we'll remove the last section that talks about vehicles.
Yeah.
So what about the other two?
And make the font bigger and all of it.
What about the other two? What about the destructive, disorderly conduct and then vendors? We're keeping them?
Yeah, that we leave them. Yeah, so in the end, we would have 5,
And have fun.
these 5 things.
No, you can't have.
Can't have fun.
You can have fun unless you.
Not when you, not on the rule sign.
It does have park rules, so yeah.
Let's have fun. Okay, have fun.
You're gonna hear about that.
So that sounds like the changes for that one, if that's okay with everybody.
I think that sounds like.
I like it.
I'll communicate that back.
So let me jump in real quick right now. I think it's absurd to have a bathroom etiquette sign.
Now we're going to the bathroom.
You didn't work for 37 years in elementary school. That is why. Trust me, these are important rules.
You'd be surprised.
And again, these probably just came from.
Bathroom etiquette.
From a boilerplate, you know, we didn't give them these anyway. We definitely didn't give them these.
So what kind of, are we gonna have paper towels or are we gonna have blowers, hand dryer blowers?
You know, this was a whole discussion with Fred. I wish he was still here, and I don't remember where we ended up. But we're still gonna have trash, as Terry brought up, for other things besides paper towels.
Yeah, you got sanitary and you got those flushable wipes that are not flushable and all the things.
I heard what you said, Terry, I got it. I think it's absurd to have bathroom etiquette. At an outdoor bathroom in the park, I just do, wash your hands. Yeah, what?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What is that?
Flush.
What is that, nanny state? No, that's school for 7-year-olds, but that's not, I don't know. All of it. Please flush. Yeah,
You can put
okay.
that sign over the
What-
toilet.
Please flush the toilet.
I just, come
There are
on.
people that won't.
You'd be surprised.
Just to answer a previous question, how many gallons does a tanker truck hold for the fire department?
Yep.
3,000 gallons for the small one and 10,000 for the large.
That's why I was saying we have more than one size truck.
Right, and that is actually, that's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't take long to get our money back.
No, it will not take us long.
Right, the first week.
And boy, I sure want to give Veolia as many nickels of ours as we can. I really want to do that.
All right, so I'm having a little bit of trouble with the part that says, please clean up after yourself with the toilet paper icon. We tell people make sure.
That's a pretty funny one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Please
what that
clean
was
up
trying to
after yourself
say.
and shows white. I mean,
Alright,
that's,
Toilet
just-
paper.
Let's remove that one.
let's remove the whole blasted thing.
I mean, clean up after yourself, but that icon is just weird.
I think this whole thing is just water.
Use water conservatively. Blah, 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 blah. This is a waste of, this is a waste of a sign, it's a waste of energy, it's a waste of everything. My opinion.
I think we should just have on the enjoy yourself while you're in the restroom.
Don't buy your neighbors.
If you're in here for a half an hour, you're doing something we don't like. Restroom etiquette, I just.
What if we just made a second park rules sign and put it in front of the bathroom?
You know what? That might cover everything.
Just.
No fires.
No fires
In the bathroom.
Yep.
No
That's
no
a good
showers.
thought. Yeah, that's a good thought.
No vendors in the bathroom, no motor scooters.
No driving on the grid.
Oh, yeah, that's the question. Smoking, you can smoke, people can smoke in the park, right?
No,
No? So should that be on the sign, no smoking?
it should.
Smoke-free park?
Yes.
Is that, I forgot, that's in our
That's in our village.
village rules already.
Well, that's how they've done with a lot of the playgrounds in such areas, and because there's so much of a,
It might even be a state law now.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put it where the motorized scooter like thing was, but no open fires allowed, and no smoking in the park.
And I gotta tell you, this is a little tiny bit, I'm with you, but it's a little tiny bit. I don't like the nice smoke-free park. I like no smoking. No, I just,
Yeah, I know, I get it.
smoke-free is just, it's one of those,
You can smoke for free.
it's just one of
You
those.
should say tobacco free, that way you don't have anybody spitting all over the place.
Then you lost
then you-
marijuana.
Right,
You
but
lost
then for
marijuana
tobacco,
there.
That's free.
You lost marijuana when you say that.
It has to say smoking,
That covers everything.
No,
Yeah.
no smoking.
No
That covers-
smoking.
you say tobacco, I mean, that's.
It doesn't cover marijuana.
So for the icon, can we use like a regular cigarette and then a spliff?
Don't they have the,
I don't do this.
so are we gonna add no smoking to the front one?
I think so, yeah.
I'll cover it up, so no icon?
Where do we want to put it?
Right after the
Was
fire.
that really officially passed? I
At the
thought we
bottom.
hadn't done one for village.
It's in one of our codes.
With no vehicles allowed in the grass?
In the parks. And I think it's a state law.
And at the bottom, where no vehicles are allowed in the grass?
You think it's
I mean, it's only a decal, so if we change things in the future, we can just have, order another decal. That's what I'm saying.
What do we want to say? No smoking?
No smoking.
What if we ask those smoke-free people for free signs and skip paying for it here?
We have signs.
We do have signs from them. That's why I'm thinking it's a universal.
They have those, maybe make that separate.
I think it's which they told us, but it's a state law in parks.
Yeah.
And we could pass a law for village, like this grounds or whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to coach us through how we could pass a law and put up the signs. But like, why not use the free signs and like sort of skip it here?
The smoke-free gang continues to do what they do. That's what they want. We have a legal substance that adults use, and the idea that we're going to try and stop everybody from using it, the idea that we're going to tell adults what they can do because a child might see it, that doesn't go well with me. That's not how I want to live in this world. That's like that. Legal substance, adults get to do it. Leave us alone. Yeah, and we'll do the things about kids. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that, but they want to make it no smoking anywhere, anytime, anybody. I'm not a big fan of that. But they're going to keep coming and pushing it. What?
One of the biggest issues with cigarettes, though, in public parks is the cigarette butts.
Oh, that's a nasty mess.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's really what the big issue is. It's like any other sort of trash. And the problem is we do have kids who tend to eat those. And I have actually worked with a child once who had intestinal blockage from eating cigarette butts from somewhere. So
I wasn't
in the house, but just like I think part of it is the trash issue of it.
But I wasn't really focusing on park. I was focusing on the group that wants to get rid of smoking and their zeal to eliminate it completely. And well, that's
and those that's going to do it anyway. They would hopefully use some discretion.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit there on the monkey bars.
I mean, you can't stop people from using gummies, but you can't stop smoking.
You could say no littering, but
so, Mike. I don't know what I don't think we have a no smoking in our parks law of our own.
Is that the state, New York State smoke-free parks law?
That's right.
When children are present and smoking is prohibited everywhere in parks.
And we have.
Wait, say the last part. What?
This is like something. Anyway, it's New York State smoke-free parks law.
Parks law. Okay, and then what else does it say?
This just goes into the details of it.
Anywhere where children are, so we do have a playground.
But let's hear before we.
I wouldn't quote that one, but that's the law anyway. It's a state law. It's not a village law. And it's part of that smoke-free law, like we can't smoke inside anymore or whatever.
So is the state law a state park? What is? We need to know what that is. Is it
just for state parks, county parks?
We need to know more about that if we're sometime or other.
Yeah, we could have Nate look into it. I think it's all parks.
Nate, you listen?
Yeah, that's my recollection, that no one is allowed to basically smoke in any parks, certainly not cannabis. So there is, as I recall, some distinction between tobacco and cannabis. Cannabis, I believe the state's law does say you can't smoke cannabis in parks or playground facilities, anywhere within so many feet of those things. Tobacco, I'd have to double check again.
The
We
Google
do have that issue with the
says
butts, and I agree with that.
New York State's clean indoor area prohibits smoking and vaping in most indoor and some outdoor public areas and workplaces. Indoor areas, under outdoor areas, it says smoking and vaping are prohibited in parks, beaches, pedestrian plazas, and arenas near hospital entrances.
Right.
the state has banned it for us.
So
Okay.
we don't need to put it on ours, cause like, you know, we don't have to put seatbelt laws and things on signs, you know, everybody sort of understands.
We just hope that people use common sense.
Yeah. We're spending a lot of time on this stupid sign.
I kind of like the idea of having the same sign on both. No, park rules.
Okay, so we're not doing
Actually,
those
kind of
things.
reinforcing people, park rules. It's
And then-
almost better.
Now, that being said, do we have a thing, so you say that there's a sign in the front that we're gonna put this on. Do we have another sign? When they were gonna put the bathroom sign up, what was, is there a sign over there already?
It's not there yet.
Is there gonna be one there?
There's gonna be one. This was a proposal for the two, one for each, but if we're gonna combine them, that's gonna be two signs.
No,
See what you mean?
I just, we already have a thing in the front that this vinyl's gonna go on. I'm wondering if we have something built someplace else that something's gonna go on.
I don't think so.
Because if we're gonna have two signs, maybe the other sign needs to go in the back of the park, coming in through the
No, it's true.
agricultural
Maybe
property.
we move the bathroom, instead of the bathroom sign,
We put that in the back of the
we
park,
take that sign and put it at the other end.
and at the other entrance, and
So
they
we're not
also.
gonna have a bathroom sign near the bathroom at all.
No, we're not gonna have a bathroom sign. We were gonna have a second sign that said the same thing as the first sign, and that's right. The first sign's right there, and then the bathroom's right there. Maybe we
Just
should have it
change
in the back,
location of the sign that was going to be there.
move out to the back, maybe.
Good idea.
So I guess there's not gonna be any toilet paper icon on that. And no toilet seat.
No.
No toilet-
There won't be any toilet paper.
Washing your hands.
The gang will take all the toilet paper. The gang that we locked this bathroom up here for will take that toilet. There won't be any
We're not
toilet paper.
Respecting anybody's privacy.
BYOTP.
And maybe the bathroom is closed in the winter time anyway.
Oh, it's gonna be. The water's turned on.
The sign of it.
I mean, and I have bathrooms.
Everything on there is something
Be-
you should
be
move.
mindful
But we're gonna have to,
of
we'll get at that, yeah.
So we have,
Should that stay on, Laura, should that
There's-
stay on the sign?
well, there's
Be
a,
mindful of personal.
we're not talking about having the bathroom sign anymore, right?
No, well,
Correct.
but if you're in the park,
Correct.
still.
We're talking about having
So-
two signs that we, that are the same that we did on the front.
Right. At the skateboard park, there's a similar looking sign. And so and at the entrance, there's a similar looking sign that says directional arrows about which way. So these would be like, you know, there's like a total of 4 signs that look like this in the park at the end. So like having one at the bathroom is so close to where the playground is that like having it be by the playground and the bathroom area is a nice spot.
The other side is another entrance to the park. You come past to the fairgrounds right there, that's an entrance.
What
to
is
the
it you're
park.
suggesting?
So right there.
We like keep it where it is, so we don't have to. There's like already enough little signs that like are gonna decorate it, that like having this be at an activity spot where there's the playground, the pickleball, and the bathrooms is a.
We
like,
don't
nice
have a
hotspot.
place for a sign over there yet. We haven't made any decision. We haven't built a concrete thing to put a sign on. There's nothing there.
They built the other ones in. The other
Yeah,
one,
we haven't
the other sign things are ready for them to install.
Right, the bathroom one I don't think is up yet.
Right.
So they could move it.
So if they can move that to the
back
end of the
back
park.
entrance.
Just a thought, just a thought.
As long as
When
it's
you're
not
coming into the
huge.
fairground, you see the sign with the rules.
Right.
When you're coming in the 2 entrances, you see the sign with the rules. Doesn't have to be that way.
I like that idea.
20 grand to do it,
What's that?
as long as there's no 20.
Oh, yeah, well, we don't want to do
Change
that.
order for 20,000.
If it's 20, if we don't want any sign at the bathroom if it's $20,000. We want any sign any place for another $20,000. There's also been a suggestion, and maybe from Fred and or code, about a 2 foot by 2 foot metal sign. Apparently our insurance boys want us to have some disclaimers. And so there's a suggestion that not one of these guys for $1 zillion, You know, just a sign on a stick, a pole, and a 2 foot by 2 foot metal thing that says the disclaimers, whatever they are. Play at your own risk, what, 2 or 3 things, whatever the
Head
insurance,
injury, spinal cord injury, orthopedic injuries, there you go. Those ones.
whatever, there are signs that have 2 or 3 things on them like that, are supposed to make a difference for being sued, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that's another
We
thing.
probably need to stick them like at the playground and the.
Yeah, and we don't,
skate
that's
park.
not here, and it's not thousands of dollars, that's a metal sign that we put 4 or 5 places.
Yeah.
But that's just something to think about with our own dough, not this stupid DRI dough. Yep.
Okay, so in my notes, I got this marked up, and then I got ask James, take the bathroom sign and put a second pool sign near the entrance on the other side.
It's a back entrance, yeah.
And what do you mean by back entrance? Do you mean by when you pull up to where the track is, or do you mean by the fair board land?
On our land.
Fair board.
I mean,
Like when you come in from Elm Street here,
you turn around, you turn the 90-degree turn.
you gotta go down past the barns, like where the loop comes around. That's our property.
That's where it should be.
So you
After,
wanted it at the top of the loop.
after they're, at the end of their property, beginning of our property, which is
Okay.
6 feet from the cattle barn coming
Like
in.
grass, like where you get up to where you would stop and go.
Okay, so you're gonna tell James where that spot is or something?
We'll circle
And,
it.
and we want this for not a ton dough. So if we've got to build a frickin'
It
20,
should be the same
Dave said
cost.
$20,000.
If they haven't put it in yet, it should be the same.
And I asked if
Are
we
the
could.
bathrooms gonna have baby changing stations?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You mean to
If they
change,
are,
you
then
mean
we
to,
are gonna need receptacles in the
you,
bathrooms.
you mean to change their gender? What do you mean baby changing station?
Oh, for God's sakes. They're not in the plan.
The changing baby, like we have in the bed, that's why I asked, because we have them in the bed.
Right.
Fathers and mothers change the
Table.
babies, they don't wanna put them on the floor.
Full table.
I'm glad that the gang isn't here now to watch us do all this.
And our cameras not working. Nate says our internet's not working.
Perfect, then nobody knows what we're doing.
Although,
Um,
our fine county infrastructure. Okay. Okay, so I think that's everything about the sign. I will pass that all on to James. Let's do the police department. Joe sent us a
Yeah.
note.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, Mike, I got stuff here for that. Crap, give me a minute.
I really wanna know what he's doing with these track phones.
Okay. So I gave everybody a copy of the 2 memos that Joe gave us. Did you want to do it, Mike? What do you want?
No, you go.
So one is just a thing with calls and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. There is a action document that was created by our police department for the lights on the river. I assume that he sent that to people on email or whatever.
I haven't gotten it yet, but yeah.
Okay. Anyways, and that's also been given to all Road, it says it right here, Road and all the other Road and Hawkins, Ulrich, blah, blah, blah. He wants to sell the Chevy Tahoe that we had potentially given to the Department of Public Works for the code. And now, one of these years, we're gonna get a code vehicle, but the Tahoe wasn't up to snuff anyways. We would have had to do a bunch of things. So he would like to put that on auction. So,
Did you get this paper?
and on this thing, there's an extra one, I'll give you one around here, so, on this piece of paper from him, it has the VIN number. So I'd like to move that we, allow the Chevy Tahoe to be sold at auction, on Auctions International.
Second for that one?
I'll second.
Here's an extra sheet.
What will happen with the money?
And we'll go into the police budget. And I would assume that, that was seconded, right? So we're discussing, I would assume that it will go into, whatever line item, but probably, new vehicle. There's a vehicle line item, I assume it will go into that line item. For purchasing, because we just did buy that other car, and so this will go into defray that.
Any other discussion on that?
I got a question. Why don't we offer this to our taxpayers and the public prior to going to auction? Has that ever been discussed? Maybe just putting an ad in the paper that
Not usually, but
for a bid, you know?
We have done that
Public-
before
public
and
auction, local public auction before it goes to.
we've done that, and Mr. Conti has bought vehicles from us in that way. In general, if we've sold vehicles to Paul Conti for years in that manner, but in general, I mean, it can be done, but they've done real well at selling these Tahoes at auction. So some local guy isn't gonna, I mean, if the local guy wanted to steal it for $1,000 or $2,000, that isn't gonna happen because they're getting 10 or 15 grand or whatever they're getting for these puppies at auction. But doesn't mean we couldn't do that. We could. But then we're playing around with us being buyers and sellers of vehicles. We could do it.
Probably have to put a belongs to the taxpayers, let the taxpayers bid on it.
they're getting a pretty good buck at them on Auctions International usually.
Of course, the taxpayer could bid on it on our Auctions International.
Yeah.
But
And I think the auction way is a legal way for us to get rid of it.
Just a thought.
well, how badly do you want to do that?
It's more work for us, and we gotta do a bid, and we gotta have a bid, and I gotta come back and say, look at the bid. It's more of a pain than if we just send it to them. Okay.
Oh,
We kind of don't want to stick one of our taxpayers with this car. We want somebody else from someplace to buy it.
that was
We
a,
want Gilbertsville to buy it for too much money.
that was a 2018, it's out of service Chevy Tahoe, 4-wheel drive, gas. Got 18 miles per hour, it has over 113,000
That's a lot of miles per hour.
miles. And it's behind the DPW garage, and it is terribly rough shape. There's lots of things missing off of it. It would never pass an inspection for somebody to be able to operate it.
So what's your point?
Send it to auction.
Oh, okay, all right, I know, that's fine.
Take it to Weissman.
Send it out.
Yeah,
Send it out.
yeah, you could maybe Weitzman's, you could get more money. Who knows? Yeah.
They're going pretty good auction. Okay, let's go, this is, send it to Auctions International, we're listed on there. Rusty,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Chuck, and yes.
Parts car.
So next deal is the sheet you have here with equipment. I've asked the chief about it numerous times. He's probably told the mayor about it. These are pieces of equipment that are no good. And not stuff that he believes. I asked, can you sell it? Can you do anything with it? He believes no. So he wants permission. I left one over there, but did you get it?
Yeah, give it to Ron.
Yeah. He wants permission to surplus, destroy, whatever he decides, dispose of these items. So he's not expecting to sell them, he's not expecting to get money, but we call it surplusing it, and then he'll either destroy it or whatever.
I don't see anything on this list that can be used.
You got some computer parts on here, can we get you some email with that?
Yeah. Well, I you don't want to know something? I said, can I have, I said, can I have something?
Clip on the case too.
No, Mike, that's exactly, I said to him, hey, there's a flip phone case here. And I said, can I have that if you're just gonna throw it away? And then he made fun of me about having a flip phone. Yeah, so I'm there too. Thank you.
Anyway, yes, it's all, I mean, we got a Sony Walkman.
I assume that is absolutely not, this stuff is garbage. It's down in a garbage can down cellar.
It's
So-
like 100-year-old stuff.
Shirts and pants, doesn't have the size.
It's nice he keeps such good controls of the station and the items.
So he wants permission to surplus these, which means he can dispose of them as well. I make a motion that we surplus these items on the sheet.
I'll second.
There you go. Let's go down that. Rusty.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave.
Yep.
Grant.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Chuck. Yes. And yes.
Trying to remember, there wasn't another thing, I wrote it down on the back of something here. Oh, yes, he would like to have permission to use our, whatever the number is, 178 or whatever, our old office building by the jail. On Lights on the River night, they have keys to it, and they've used it in the past for the officers to go in, use the bathroom, get warm, sit down for a minute. So he'd like permission to use that. I assume that board action doesn't need to be done, that probably the mayor can just say, okay.
I did ask DPW to make us for sale signs.
Yeah, Freddie said he was gonna do that.
As soon as he does that, we'll get that on.
So, Mike, is that all right with you that, the police use that?
Yeah, they use it for stuff.
Okay. I think that's everything. Did you have anything else?
We do sell it.
Mike, do you have anything else from the police?
No.
You send it, you got enough, you need another copy of this, somebody can go in with it. Rodney got it? Okay. Do we need, I don't know why he gave it to me, real quick, he gave me a copy of the title, not the real title for some reason, for the Tahoe. I don't know if we need that for any reason.
Kirby has it.
It's good that he has it though.
Yep, but he just gave, I don't know, he didn't know if you might need it for some medical. Okay.
That's usually an issue.
Because we lose them titles,
I know.
real good.
We're good at that.
I probably forgot something, but I think that's everything.
All right, we got a motion on the agenda to approve the return of unpaid village taxes.
So somebody asked online what that was or what that meant. Can you just like in general say like why we're doing this?
This is the amount of money that we did not receive in taxes. So, but really what it turns out to be is really almost 90% of that is unpaid sewer bills. So when we get the money back in March, we just reimburse the money to the sewer. Because a lot of taxes had the sewer and whatever. That's all it is. It's unpaid taxes that people didn't pay from August until November.
And then it's
So
just it's just a necessary adjustment that we have to make.
Yeah, so the
We
process
have to
is,
send the paperwork to the county, so
And then the county can put it on your county tax in January.
Right. So the people who didn't pay their bills will have it applied to their county bills.
yes.
And so that's how they still have to pay their taxes.
yeah, and the county reimburses us, so when somebody doesn't pay us the taxes, county gives us the money and then they go get it.
The county makes us whole, and then the county goes and fights for it. That's why, at the end of the day, the county can foreclose on property for back taxes.
Which we
Right.
cannot do, so that's how that works.
Right.
And they also had 6%.
They're not doing it. for free.
Yeah, they make money.
So anyways, we're just doing housekeeping, necessary housekeeping.
Well, that's the amount of money that people didn't pay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll motion for the action. What does this
Yep,
say?
Okay, do we have a
The
second?
unpaid tax action.
To approve the return of unpaid village taxes to
Carries.
Tyler County
Okay, any other discussion?
And the rest.
in the amount of $258,640.31.
Yeah, so that's like 10% of the taxes.
Right. So, good thing is we get made whole.
And we know who didn't pay them.
And the good thing is.
It is in the paper.
We really already got the tax money, this is sewer money. 90%. That works out good for us.
We'll vote on that, Fran.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Chuck. Yes. Rusty.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave.
Yes.
And yes. Next is payment of bills, and they are considerably shorter, only because we're doing them twice a month. Which our auditors probably will like better.
Yeah, great.
So somebody would motion to pay the
So
bills.
what happened to that attorney fee?
We didn't pay it yet.
They're
We
not-
haven't paid it.
They're not under the.
That's not on here, that's
It's not on here.
What is on there is that in the bill that we rejected, they had a couple other bills on there. So we put their old bills on there, but not the one with the losses.
Okay.
So did we pay the other ones even though we didn't?
No.
So we're gonna pay the other ones now,
Yes.
but we're still not paying the
Right, I just.
the
because,
investigation.
You guys just said, hold up that check, with that check, you had the other parts of the bill, so. We took them out, we added their bills back in.
And I talked to Nate today, it sounds like that bill we're talking about is gonna change dollar amount wise
Up or down?
for the better.
So move that we approve the payment of bills, including the back payment to the Coughlin Gerhart minus the piece for the,
Yeah, what's in here is like $3,000, I think.
okay.
Second. Okay, any other discussion on that? Vote. Rusty?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Charles? Linda?
In the bills we just paid, we're paying the sidewalk in front of the steamer house. And we're also paying for the finished sidewalk at the Marvin Park and the railing, so that's all paid. It will be paid.
So we're paying for the sidewalk at the steamer house. Did we do anything to pay for a cutout or install that or
So I
anything?
did contact Pat Gavin on that, and they did have a go around with DOT, but they got it figured out, that's all. They got all their permits.
So DOT has allowed them to move that cutout from where it was to the new place.
That's what he said.
Okay. I'll take his word for it. That's usually pretty good at that.
Are they gonna give us paperwork? Because it's like,
I assume so.
you know, it's our property to, like, we should have the paperwork in our files.
I would assume
But we're not getting a flood permit for the cutout.
Don't put it in there, you're fine.
All right, we got minutes. What do you know?
November 18th. What do you know there? That girl?
I need to send in my report for that.
Yeah, there's a spot in there. Says front loader.
It's right in there in yellow.
Yeah.
Paste Laura report here.
Well, last time I passed this on to you, what I had read, and I want that in the minutes. You ended up with a 2-line abbreviation of what I said about the past award and so I don't know if you want to give this to you again, I can send it to you by email.
Send it by email, and then maybe they can put it in their tab.
They still pasted in either.
Fran, was it the meeting before or is it the 18th meeting?
It was 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you email
Okay,
it,
I'll
yeah.
send the email to you.
Move to approve the minutes as written with Fran's addition and Laura's report.
I'll second that.
That work for you, Laura?
No, I didn't print them out. I found one thing in there.
Okay, well. And
Did Bill Chandler's name? She had it wrong at the end.
it's in there somewhere about Bill.
Oh, it says Don
Don
Chandler.
Chandler.
Yeah,
Donnie.
Did they fix that to be Bill?
No.
It's all the way at the end.
Yeah, it's Bill in the front and we'll fix the one in the back to Bill.
I emailed her.
That's part of the motion.
But I emailed her like when she sent them. a while ago. Okay, anyway. We'll approve it with those tweaks. Rusty?
Yes?
Laura?
Yes.
Dave? Yes. Fran?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Charles? Yes. And yes. Trustee reports. I didn't list you, because I did the agenda. Dave?
Last 2 weeks ago, we talked about having dirt, holding back dirt to get some training for the new Vector truck we got in. Tried to reach out to him today and I missed him, so I'll be working on getting that scheduled with him so the guys can get some proper training on that new equipment. And the Jeep is still in limbo, hoping it comes in January. That's all I got.
We're on the table, since I was Laura.
So the brick DTA team is gonna meet this Thursday, 10 a.m. On Zoom. And the main goal was for the village to sort of say what to set some goals for what we'll be working at, and also to be working on the Brick Building Codes Plus Up program application, and that's something that we can work on that's eligible activities to aid the village. And code enforcement department, it includes the software purchases, engaging consulting services, development of professional workforce capabilities through technical assistance and training. So it's a grant for how we can hire a CFM to help our office and other things. So we'll be talking about that. They will be writing the grant application for us. I am still trying to get a new date from Cadmus to visit the wastewater treatment plant to conduct an energy audit of the operations so that we can find about how we can invest in saving over there. We took care of the Clean Energy Communities grant purchases earlier this evening. The Clean Energy Communities groups of the Southern Tier will be meeting December 12th from 9 a.m. to noon in person at the someplace in Schuyler County and on Zoom. And that's like more of an informal grouping of all the communities in our area, where we can learn what's working there, what's not working, and like how we can help ourselves, or like what's good, and learn from each other, so we can better grow for the future. And then just regular stuff. Working on haven't forgotten the exhaust brake signs, but I didn't really get to it this time, and yeah, that's it.
Rusty.
Come back to me.
Brandon.
The only thing is, our next cemetery committee meeting is January the 11th, which is Saturday. Be from 10 to noon. We're going to be doing some planning for the following year.
Jerry.
We have an OHPC meeting on Thursday, and I'm going to urban forestry.
So you need me to start the thing.
We're going to do an urban forestry class online, and I asked my son-in-law how much does a kilowatt hour cost on fast charger, and he said he's seen anywhere from 20 cents to 55 cents per kilowatt hour in cost.
Put it in my calendar. So.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Where'd it go? I go on the wrong day.
Thursday. If you can, if you can't, I'll unlock the building. It's not a big deal.
Well, you'll still unlock the building, but I'll start the evening. Sure.
I don't have a report, but I would like to say that we really need to come to a conclusion with this EMS situation. I really did not feel comfortable being ambushed today over something that I thought we had settled. I felt like I was back to the future in a time machine a month ago. I really don't know how this happened. So we really need to come to a conclusion with this. And hopefully on the 12th, we can accomplish that, because it's unfair to the volunteers that they're not getting the gist of what's happened, what transpired. And I just don't understand why the duties of this new regime is not taking hold. I'd like to get to the bottom of that. We have to sort this out.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Rusty will come back here.
Well, you ain't gonna like this, and I want it to be 5 minutes. I want an executive session to talk about legal action, and I want it tonight.
Okay.
So I move that we do that, but, before I move, I'm talking that we, not trying to be here forever, we're already here forever. I think we need to do this for a minute. So I move to have an executive session. Or legal.
Attorney-client,
Sure.
let's vote on that quick, Fran.
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
John, Rusty.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Dave. Yes. Yes, and Nate, we'll call you in a minute. Let me do my last thing and then we'll do public comment.
Sounds good.
No public. Mayor's report, so the only thing that I had on my mayor's report was I was gonna let everybody know on the board that Sunday night is the EMS membership meeting, where they're having a holiday dinner. I'm smoking a turkey, thawing in my refrigerator at home right now. I'm supposed to invite everybody to come.
Doesn't sound like they want us to come real bad.
Is that the station?
What's it called? EMS membership?
It's their monthly membership meeting. This December's, they're just having a holiday dinner. Everybody's bringing something. Sunday.
What time?
This Sunday?
7 to 8. I'm smoking a turkey.
So we're supposed to bring this back.
If you want, it's not required, but it was supposed to help build the relationship, you know? It's working out real well.
Yeah. And they had the annual banquet here just recently, and I felt very uncomfortable with what was going on going to that. I know a couple of you went, but I just didn't feel comfortable with doing that.
We went to try and.
Yeah, to try and
show support.
do better. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
That's all I had. Public comment? Everybody left. But Nate can't see because the camera's not working, but Nate, nobody's left but us.
Let's do it. Let's do it and get it done here. Let's do this.
And the recording because we don't expect any action.
No, no action.